Dan, I'm a little bit nervous today.
About?
Well, I get here and I go say hello to my friend Mike Ryan, and this is also coming off of a very, like, he was in a bad place yesterday. Like, he said some dark stuff on this show yesterday.
And off the air, a lot of people in Miami are still hurting. There's a feeling of, like, sickness, hangover all over the city.
Yeah, and I said hello to him this morning. I was like, hey, just regular, how you doing? He goes, terrible, I want to die. I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to say much of anything. Is that because Duke is suing to keep Mensa from coming here? Is it because he's fighting with Uncle Luke? Is it just because they lost and he still hasn't gotten over it? He's here. I suppose I can ask.
I mean, maybe it was because FSU beat the Hurricanes basketball last night.
That too.
Well, I went to that game yesterday, and I thought I could power through. And I saw a couple people in the Hurricanes lounge that I'm friends with, and we all looked at each other. This was a mistake. We're gonna go. Left at halftime. I didn't have the heart to just watch green and orange running up and down a court. They had ESPN on in the Hurricanes lounge, so every 30 seconds you just see Mendoza and confetti
Well, that's
fly.
the thing I wanted to ask you guys actually is if you've been able to avoid the televisions enough, because I just saw it this morning, to avoid seeing again and again the Mendoza play. The one Mendoza play of him running up the middle and scoring the touchdown keeps playing. I feel like some of my channels are only airing that, nothing else.
Yeah, it's glorious, isn't it? Hey, by the way, I don't know why everybody's so down in the dumps. It's another sunny day here in football America. As we go into this show, a request, in fact, a demand. From here on out, call me national champion Dave Damashek. Thank you.
I mean, that's aggressive. I don't. You just came in. You just bossed everyone around. Now Indiana is going to be
He's
cocky.
got the right. He's got the right. His team won.
Do you? Well, I was going to say, do you miss it? But have you ever felt that way? Or when is the last time you felt that way, that you were hungover with sadness because your team lost?
Wow. For me, I have had the fandom beaten out of me by journalism, by neutrality, impartiality. I think the last time I ever shed tears or came close at a sporting event was when my 1967 Red Sox lost in the World Series to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Not when you almost died at Battle Court?
No, I was passed out, so I had no emotion. I was dead on the ground.
Basketball is back, Jack. Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-off. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man-to-man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and rolls, and we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots, a dagger three and hack a shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say Zagak. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack.
in order for the University of Miami to keep the momentum going and stack successes on top of each other as they have for the last 4 years, they have to get a quarterback because the last 2 years they've had profound stability at that position. And Darian Mensah is very good, but Manny Diaz and Duke are now preventing him from coming to Miami because he's got a contract. And Barry Jackson has tweeted, "There remains optimism that Darian Mensah will join the Canes, but it's going to take longer than hoped, and nothing can be assumed in our judicial system. Duke decided it wants to make it difficult for Mensah and Miami." The lawsuit portion and litigation portion of there are no rules, and we're trying to figure it out as we go along, and different people have different interpretations of the rules, make it so that Duke doesn't want to be a feeder system anymore for everybody. They don't want to just exist anymore as ACC champions as something that can lose its quarterback to Miami.
Duke is a school that has invested a lot more than people think into their football team specifically. Mensah was the highest paid quarterback in last year's transfer portal cycle. Like, Duke, people don't realize, is taking NIL for football very seriously.
Yeah, they're heavy into the rev share. So yeah, you just have to look up how they got Darian Mensah, and they absolutely set the market with that. And the reason why quarterbacks are getting offers of like $6.5 million reportedly is because Darian Mensah doubled whatever the highest paid quarterback was the previous season.
I have no problem pointing out my hypocrisy when it comes to stuff like this. Like, I hope it works out for the Canes because it's the Canes, and I want a good thing for the Canes to happen. But there is a part of me where it's like, I don't like the players signing contracts with team or schools and then just being able to say, F it, I'm going somewhere else. Like that part of college sports, I would like to be reined in sometime soon.
Now, there are employee agreements for non-employees and contracts that people have to adhere to, but the fundamental principle, because this is a lot like the Xavier Lucas thing, is like, okay, so you're saying he's an employee. You're paying him to play. And the NCAA is always like, whoa, no, yeah, slow up on that. And that's always how these players always drag the NCAA in these things.
But why does that matter? Like, you'll have to excuse my ignorance.
Because once you open that Pandora's box, it stops being what the NCAA likes to pretend that it is.
I mean, labor laws, unions, all that stuff that come with employees.
Yeah, they don't want to open the door to that.
But shouldn't just a contract be a contract, whether it's pay for play or name, image, and likeness?
So, like, the way that they write a lot of these contracts is you can't write a contract that says you are going to play X amount of game for the Duke Blue Devils next year. They write the contract specifically. You have a contract to do X NIL appearances in Durham County, North Carolina. So you have to go to this, like, a lot of it is like signings. A lot of it is like volunteer work that they're really getting paid, a ton of money for, but it's not written as pay to play. So Duke, the contract they had signed, like, kind of claims ownership over his name, image, and likeness, saying you can't, use your name, image, and likeness with another school, which clearly Miami would be doing that if he goes and plays school there. There's a lot of like workaround with it. A lot of these schools will like outsource their NIL contracts. There are like these entire companies now that are just simply NIL organizations that help write these contracts and like facilitate these deals, but it'll never expressly say you have to play X amount of games to be the quarterback next year. You have to take this many snaps, but they find a workaround of that.
I love that the subtext of all this is Mario Cristobal against the former coach Manny Diaz. But I can't see that this stands up in court. And I know the courts ultimately decide. This is the age of player freedom and player movement. I cannot believe the court is going to rule that a player has to stay at this school because he signed some contract that was mostly about making appearances in Durham. Let him still make the appearances in Durham. Just do it in a Canes uniform.
Hey,
see how that goes over.
This is all great, this sober conversation of legalities. How about we talk about national championships? Indiana Hoosiers are that, and they have their quarterback for next year, which is great news. But how about, can we get back to, I know you guys are trying to turn the page, but as far as that goes, can we get back to Mike Ryan trying to go to the Canes basketball game yesterday and then having to leave like a scorned lover? I'm trying to move on. I want to find somebody else. I'm not ready yet. My heart isn't open just yet. He had to leave the game at halftime.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for verbal diarrhea.
Wow.
Bad call.
Verbal diarrhea. I was making fun of. How about that?
Thank you for rescuing me. I was getting alpha right there.
He's
He kicked my ass.
I don't know what to do with the level of pomposity coming out of Indiana about sports. I'm confused by it. I'm disoriented. I want to get back to the legality of what it is that Greg is talking about, though, because we've talked about this before. At the very advent of cell phones, we didn't have enough towers and stuff so that the cell phone communication was actually good. But people began relying on it so much that during a time where cell phones weren't yet working properly, people were demanding it so much that a lot of people had poorly working cell phones. That's where we are along the path on all this NCAA stuff, where we're making up the rules. We're trying to figure out what the contracts look like. We're taking it to the judicial system so that the system can be put in place so that 10 years from now, it's not something that has this in it. You cannot have Duke suing the quarterback who's under contract to prevent him from leaving. 10 years from now, they're going to get this all sorted out. But now is the time that they have to set all the precedents because they keep getting presented with stuff they haven't seen before.
So, like, when you didn't have cell phones, how would you talk to each other? Would you
there was a time
did
before
you
that.
write a letter?
Imagine,
What was
Lucy.
it?
Imagine trying to meet someone at a stadium when you don't have cell phones. If you're meeting friends
crazy.
at a stadium, how do you
Gate numbers used to be a big thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
huge
but
thing.
if someone's late, imagine someone's late, can't get there for a half hour. Like, how are you doing any of that stuff, meeting your friends at a stadium without a cell phone?
What?
That's right.
I would just assume they were
happened.
dead.
Excuse me?
You stand up in a row and go like this and hope that they see you five sections over.
I mean, someone's stuck in traffic on their way to meet you, and you have no idea how long it's going to take until they get to you, or if they're going to get to you at all.
So did you guys have to use like maps to get there, like physical ones?
Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
used to.
I didn't
used
even
to-
know they.
yes,
I didn't even know they made those.
You know about that
anymore.
printing out Google Maps?
I mean, before that, you
Wow.
just used regular in your glove compartment maps.
Right.
Now
Know about that MapQuest?
Now I'm doing the back
seems
in my
dangerous.
days.
It is a back in my day.
Because the
thing.
maps are so big. How would you how are you able to tell where? Like, how can you spot where you are?
If you were running into any sort of trouble, you'd pull into a gas station,
Yes.
and they would tell you where you could go and
Damn
explain a map.
Done
Yeah.
it.
We should do a
Been
bit
there.
where we just go to a gas station and ask
No
them
phone.
directions.
You have no
They're just
phone.
gonna
No
be like,
phone.
what are you-
You have to find your way to Eugene, Oregon.
You think that in Miami you're going to find someone who speaks English in one of those gas stations to give you directions?
I couldn't get home right now without my cell phone.
The Verizon outage was like one of the 5 worst days of my life.
it was awful.
Like truly, I had no idea what was going on. Like, thank God I live in New York because I'm like, okay, it's a grid, I can figure this out. But if I had been anywhere else, I would have been
We are
dead.
so bleeped.
Dead.
We are so bleeped if for some reason our technology in this country doesn't work for 10 days. If everything shuts down. I told you, I was in a coffee shop the other day and their credit card system went down and I just saw 11 employees standing by the bagels, just unable to do anything, as if they'd been paralyzed.
Right, cash only. What? Who carries
Oh,
cash?
I got it. Wait a minute.
Hey, you could ask Fernando Mendoza, as he proved on 4th and 5. He always knows how to find the way home.
It's true.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes. Fork came out of your mouth.
What the hell? Injustice!
That's a really good line.
I had a cash incident the other day with Sedano. I don't know if he's around at all. I wanted to get his appraisal because I asked him to save it for the show because he was standing right next to me, okay? I come out of a place where I'm paying $16 for parking. Now, first of all, the normalization of people overcharging for parking is something that I'm not generally good with, but we've gotten used to. I have a $20 bill that I'm going to give the valet to go get my car and pay for the parking. And the guy says, "I'm sorry, sir, we do not take cash." And I'm like, "You're taking this cash. This is cash you're going to take. This is how I'm paying for this. This has value anywhere I go in the world, and it's going to have value here."
The thing you want represents this thing I'm giving you.
Yeah, but that's a company not trusting their employees, so you're
That's
hurting
fine.
this employee.
That's fine. So he brings his manager over, and his manager says, "Sir, sorry, we're not taking cash." And I'm like, "You're either taking this cash, or you're just giving me
pulled that
Yeah,
move?
you're either." And no, and it worked.
Wow.
But I'd like Sedano's opinion because I don't know whether Sedano thought I was being an asshole or not. But I reached my breaking point on this cash stuff enough where cash isn't good enough, but you got a tip jar. You got a tip jar where you take my cash, but you will not take my cash otherwise.
Yes,
and it's
great.
like, no, I'm not doing that. You will take the $20. You'll get a $4 tip for going to get my car. You shouldn't be charging me for any of this. Like the idea that it's normal now to charge me $16 to put my car somewhere just so that you could grift off me, I'm not okay with. And I just lost my patience in a carport. I wasn't impolite about it, but I'm like, this is the only way you're going to get this paid for. There's not another way this transaction's going to happen.
Okay, so let me get this clear. That was not your tone of voice.
No, it was
Okay,
gentle.
all right,
It was gentle. I thought it was gentle, but I'd be curious what Sedano thought.
I'm reaching out to Sedano.
Because I asked him to save whatever his opinions are on this and inform us on this. But Mike is presently feuding with Uncle Luke.
Oh, I saw this.
I don't know the backstory here. You texted me that Mike had a problem
Yup.
with Uncle Luke. For those of you who do not know, because it was a long time ago, Uncle Luke is the godfather of hip-hop in Miami. 2 Live Crew took his lyrics to the Supreme Court.
How in relation to cell phones is this, like on a timeline?
20 years before cell phones.
I don't even know. How did you listen to the music?
It's a great point by you.
You called up a radio station and requested a song
We had these things.
No, but
called
how would you call the
cassettes.
radio
what?
station? With what?
with a wall phone.
A
It
landline.
was a rotary
How
dial.
would you know the number, though?
You know, they said it on the radio.
Oh, my goodness.
Are we in a place, Dan, where we would hand Lucy a rotary phone and she wouldn't know how to use it?
Probably not.
I have a purse that's shaped like one, so I'd be able to figure it out.
Yeah, she goes thrift shopping a lot.
What is the backstory? Can you give us the backstory that's unbiased, Zaslow, before we get to Mike's thoughts on this?
Yeah, I saw Uncle Luke posted something. The first tweet I think Uncle Luke put out was something to the effect of, "Where's that kiss ass Mike Ryan? You know, what's he saying today? You know, the morning after the Canes lose. Yeah, where is kiss ass Mike Ryan today from hashtag Dan Le Batard Show? You think that's a commonly used hashtag? Just hashtag Dan Le Batard
I don't think he really
Show?
knows. He did
I don't
hashtag
know.
Mike Ryan. Not really.
Oh, yeah. I'll bet there's a lot of hashtag Mike Ryan. I really want to know what he has to say, Mr. Fatmouth. And by the way, that's a weird tweet because Mike Ryan is featured on a huge show for 3 hours every day. And he clearly knows what the Dan Le Batard Show is because, you know, he hashtagged it. Why doesn't Uncle Luke go watch or listen to the Dan Le Batard Show and see what fatmouth Mike Ryan has
Can I
to
see
say?
the rest of that tweet, please? Can I see the rest of that back and forth
Yeah.
after Mr. Fatmouth? Because Mike Ryan says, depressed knowing we could have been champs if only we listened to your ass Ray Joseph takes. And now he's pissed Luke off.
Well, yeah, because for years, Uncle Luke was always, you know, why don't Ray Joseph play, this, that, blah, blah, blah.
And so Luke comes back with Mike Ryan, you a piece of... You know nothing about football. JoJo and Ray never got an opportunity. You replaced them with 0 and 7. You watched them last night, and all you got their ass beat by 2 kids from Miami. Coach Beard, who you bleep ride for,
Rhymes with ick.
and then you say, Mike, and I don't know what this is responding to because there was more to that tweet, but it's not on the page. Dude, you're 65.
I'm sick burn.
Is he indeed 65? Is Luther Campbell
assume
65?
Mike looked that up.
I mean, is he 65?
I was ballparking.
Well, and here's the thing that I think Mike Ryan probably doesn't like also. Uncle Luke, at least to me, like, Uncle Luke loves when the Canes lose. He loves when the Canes lose because it seems that unless every coach on the team are Uncle Luke's hand-picked coaches that he approves of, and every player on the team, and it's a lot of Miami kids who, of course, Uncle Luke does a lot of work with here, you know, high school football.
He's gotten a lot of people to,
Right.
to the NFL.
But unless all of them are playing the exact amount of time that Uncle Luke thinks appropriate, Uncle Luke would rather be right than the Canes win. And so the Canes lose because they're not doing everything that Uncle Luke suggests, and I feel like that's annoying probably to Canes fans.
I think he proved it, which is after the Canes lose, he's like, "Where's Mike Ryan at?"
He's a big I told you so guy.
Yeah,
Big
well,
I told you
so.
so.
Like, here's how this has gone. Like, I've seen Luke out a couple of times. I, until very recently, considered myself friends with Uncle Luke. I've known Luke for 20 years. We work together, all that stuff. And whenever I've seen Luke out, which is rare because I grew up with him being identified with the University of Miami, but he's opposition at this point. He's not doing a lot in terms of, you know, being supportive of the program.
If they're not doing everything his way, he loves when they lose.
So I saw him at a game, And he was around. I'm like, great to see you around. Like, we're still going with the Ray Joseph stuff. Come on, let's be supportive. So I saw him on Sunday at an Adidas event. I saw him. He was like in the back. And as I was saying goodbye to my friends, I'm like, hold up. I got to step up to Luke because he's happy that we're obviously here. So I go up to Luke. We're shaking hands. We're hugging. We're laughing. I'm like, you happy that you're here? You must be. Like, are we still complaining about Ray Joseph? Ray just entered the portal, and he's laughing. He's like, Mike. So I think that we have like a good jocular relationship. And I saw that tweet, and I assumed it was more jocularity and us having fun. And then dude just crossed the line talking about how he's going to beat my ass in public when I was just laughing with you when you had every opportunity to say when I actually checked you on your and
well, in one of the tweets there, he said that you didn't check him, that he was going to smack you, but he looked around and there were people around and he didn't want to, he didn't want to, in his words, come off as angry black man.
I just think it's a real shame that the aftermath of all this is this cane on cane violence, this trail of blood. Fernando and I are men of peace. We just want to bring a little sunshine to the world. This is heartbreaking stuff.
I'm genuinely confused by it. I know he's basically an internet troll now, and he's doing a thing, and I've known him for long enough to know when he's doing a thing, but...
What's confusing? You said he would smack you.
Right. Although I was the one that checked him. And I'm also the kind of guy that reached out to him directly, and I'm still waiting to hear back. Like, we can do this again, and we can be jocular about it again, you big phony goof.
I'd like to propose a boxing match for charity between Uncle Luke and Mike.
That's not cliche at all. We'll play the sound in a second here. It's a great inventive idea. No one's ever done it before.
But the question is, would it ever happen?
Okay, you want him to fight a 65-year-old
Box for
man?
charity?
That's right. Yes,
That'll
I do.
look good for Mike.
Okay.
Box for the UM program.
I think it would
Money
be
goes
an
to
even,
UM.
I think it would be an even fight.
All right. This has been going on for a number of years. I'm actually kind of proud that Mike gets to inherit some of this as a disciple. First of all, when Zaz says, Uncle Luke supports the program only when the program does what he says, Uncle Luke famously said that he would go to the NCAA with all the violations against the University of Miami if they didn't start the black quarterback, Ryan Collins.
Yep.
Okay, that's where some of this started. And Uncle Luke also, I don't think I've ever been more shocked in public than listening to WQAM when Uncle Luke is on and Uncle Luke is saying to Hank Goldberg, yeah, Dan Le Batard called me the N-word. And I'm like, that is not in any way true. He just made that up. Like, he knows that's not true. And when I came on, I immediately called him. I'm like, what are you doing? That's not in any way true. He starts laughing. So, yes, he's a professional troll. But he's a professional.
That's what he does.
He's a professional troll who once invited me to a party that I was going to go on a boat with him and an assortment of other people, and my mother was legitimately afraid that he was going to throw me into the ocean to die, to drown to death, because she was afraid in general of all the things Uncle Luke related. But he's now 65 years old. He is indeed 65.
How did you call him that without a cell phone?
I did not call him that. He delights in remembering that gratuitous trolling that was wildly unfair. I don't think there's anything he could have said publicly about me that would have been more hurtful, untrue, or damaging.
I kind of love him. He's like awesome.
See if you love him after. See if you love him after this sound, because this is all going to get back to him. He was supposed to be here last week. We sent a car for him. I don't know what the hell happened.
Well, I saw one video where he was like, "I didn't want to come in because I would have beat Mike Ryan's ass if I came in."
See?
What was the excuse that he gave us?
He never
had car trouble.
Right.
He never told me. He never told me why. He was supposed to come in 3 different days last week and never showed up, and never explained why, except one time saying I wouldn't have been good to you because my voice is shot. Let's listen to this.
From the Dan Le Batard Show, and I was supposed to appear on Dan Le Batard Show this week, and I didn't go because I know I probably would have did something I ain't had no business doing to this dude Mike Ryan. I said, bitch, I've been a hurricane since you was in diapers. The you talking about? And I'm looking around because I really want to jack his ass up at the police. Okay, camera, police, you got to look at your surroundings. And this mother comes up while I'm talking to this guy and start talking about the same. So I'm sitting there And I'm looking at Mike, this ain't the time and place for that, boss. I'm like, this motherfucker. Now, if I take him around the corner and dummy his ass up, this is going to think I'm a So I, Luther Campbell, have to restrain myself in certain settings, in certain situations, because I know it can be perceived as angry black man. So the man said, the big executive was like, is that the Mike Ryan from the Dan Le Batard Show? I was like, yeah. He's like, why does he act like an ass? Mike Ryan, in my opinion, is in my opinion, he's the dummy on the Dan Le Batard Show. But I won't go on your show and then say that slick so I can make you look like a real goddamn the dummy you are of the show.
Mike, why are you grinning maniacally while you're listening to this?
Because he's doing like a troll thing. But I do think it crossed the line. And for the record, I'm not the one for that. Like, I reached out to him directly. Still haven't heard back. He's doing his little goofy thing. He's become a Twitter troll.
Did that happen what he said, where he said, Mike, this is not the time for that?
No, he was just being a goof. He was laughing and hugging me.
Was
and
he looking
me...
around because he was going to smack you?
No, he wasn't. In fact, I had him on skates because I'm one of the few people that like will talk to him in person and be like, why are you doing this to the program? Like, you're still talking about Lane Kiffin. You're still directing kids to FSU. You have an opportunity. You're all about taking credit for paying the players before it was legal. You have a legal avenue right now to actually help the program that you're supposed to rep. Instead, you're opposition. You're not helping at all. And I give him the guff over that stuff. I thought it was all love. I thought we were having fun. But I do think that he crossed the line. And don't play with me like that.
He's the self-appointed general manager of Miami Hurricanes football. He's living in his own world. I think he's got a right to do everything he's doing and say everything he's saying. He's fun.
I'd be careful, though. I'd just be careful on this front. Suge Knight, Snoop Dogg, all those people, Ice Cube, they all had to ask permission before coming to Miami. Of Luke, because you might want to be careful with what it is you say publicly.
Stop. He's a 65-year-old man. He plays a bunch of golf. Like he's all chummy. He's doing a wrestling
I'm not
character.
talking about him. I'm talking about the people who defend and protect him.
Stop.
That was true last week, but now the president of Miami is Fernando Mendoza, right? He runs all business here, right?
Well, I want to ask you guys something here about the coping involved that the Miami Hurricane fans have been doing the last couple of days. So I cannot tell you how many people yesterday sent me the tweet of Chris Felica saying and showing video of on the Malachi Toney punt that he downed at the 5-yard line.
Which Mike got mad at me for saying that he shouldn't have caught that ball.
The tweet, though, that is being sent, I was really surprised by the number of people who sent me this yesterday, because it was clear that Miami was trying to set up something that you probably haven't seen a whole lot on punt returns. You may have seen it on kickoffs, but it's never tried on punt returns, where you're on the right side with the football and you lateral it across the field, and it's clearly open, and it presumes a lot that the pass will be accurate. There's a lot of presumption involved, but people are pointing to that play and saying that it means something that this was left on the field. And I understand it as a coping mechanism. But the thing that I wanted to ask you guys is, I thought we all understood that Indiana did the small things better than Miami, and I thought we all understood that game was decided by Indiana's special teams. They do that stuff better than Miami, and so it's not surprising that the punt was so good that they couldn't do anything on that play, because that's what they do well, and it's one of the places Mario Cristobal, I suppose, can be criticized. He's got more pros than Indiana. Indiana is better at the small stuff. That I thought we all knew that.
Their reputation was they punish you for your mistakes. They're a great execution team. All that stuff played out on the field. The punter booming that punt to Miami not being able to maintain their blocks, which was a running thread throughout special teams. And that's the difference. Like, they execute those two things. Honestly, credit to Malachi Toney for not forcing it, because he did have Bryce Fitzgerald, I believe, on the other side. And I know it assumes accurate pass, but we've seen Malachi Tony be able to throw the ball. He was a high school quarterback.
Wouldn't even have had to have been accurate. There was no one near the guy on the other side.
Yeah, but the reason no one tries that is because you can't be having the ball on the ground back there when you're playing near that close to your own end zone in a game decided by the small thing.
It's ballsy, and it certainly would have done, like, let's say that plays out in this alternate universe. Imagine what that does to Mario Cristobal's legacy. Like, that call in that spot against Kirk
That's
Cignetti.
like Sean Payton onside kicks to start the third
And the
quarter
thing is,
stuff.
like, he made the call. It was just blown up by the stuff that Indiana does very
You guys
well.
know that when Malachi Tony would have turned to throw the ball, that the Hoosiers players would have reacted to that and gone to the other guy. And that assumes that Malachi would have thrown a good ball over there. You know, they would have gone over there and gotten in his way. It's not as though they would have just been like, well, we got duped. There he goes down the sideline.
Great play!
I love that we have to write
Miami.
fan fiction for Mario to get the big one.
Yeah, no, I get it, and screw you. But he had space. Like, it
Who would have
probably
thrown a good ball? Fernando Mendoza. And did.
Would have been pretty cool if he was on the Hurricanes.
Tell you what, that Alberto Mendoza couldn't get out of Indiana fast enough.
Isn't that the truth?
Come on.
Get near the microphone, Greg, as you often forget to do. I wanted to ask you about Mike McDaniel. The reports are that he's going to the Chargers, Justin Herbert, unless the Raiders' job becomes open to him or the Ravens' job becomes open to him. He's obviously in demand. It is funny to see what's happening in Miami, where he's in demand, at least in part, because everybody understands, had the number one passing offense in the league, and Raheem Mostert had 18 touchdowns on an offense that had a quarterback that wasn't as good as the one that he would now have in Los Angeles if Justin Herbert stays healthy, which he has, and Justin Herbert will get to play differently than he's played the last few years because the amount that dude has been hit is insane. Like, they are not. I know a lot of people argue about Justin Herbert and say stop making excuses for Josh Allen and Justin Herbert, but I saw no quarterback in the sport playing as unpleasant a football position as Justin Herbert at quarterback because the Chargers couldn't block anybody this year once they got injured on the offensive line. And I've said before, that offensive line didn't belong in the playoffs. Like, that was an incompetent offensive line.
No, that's fair. I think Mike McDaniel took the right job for him because you go where the quarterback is. You know, he was still a finalist for the Giants, I believe, and pulled out of that job because he thought Justin Herbert
didn't want any part of the Browns job. Could have had the Browns job. Doesn't want any part of that.
He went where the quarterback is. Now, I personally think Justin Herbert is overrated at this point in his career. I don't think he's lived up, but he's a better quarterback than the other choices he had.
Has a chance to be especially painful for Dolphin fans. Because, Dolphins took Tua instead of Justin Herbert. And now you got the coach, who rightfully has been run out of town, linking up potentially with Herbert with an opportunity to improve him even more. Like, it has a chance to be really painful for the Dolphin fan if Herbert all of a sudden becomes a big-time passer.
I don't know how you look at Herbert and think he's, not great. Like, I don't know what you're doing with Herbert there. Yeah, he had a bad offensive line this year, so he didn't have time.
He had a terrible offensive line.
We have a pretty good idea because Justin Herbert seems to be like a sticking point with Dolphin fans.
McDaniel with Herbert is going to make you realize how bad Tua is.
I think so, too.
Like, that's the reality, is that McDaniel made Tua, and Justin Herbert's tools with the ability to create a run game out of nowhere,
which is McDaniel's
that McDaniel has. When you can have that to free up everything that Herbert does, he is going to be spectacular with Mike McDaniel, and it's going to end any of those debates you were having as Jeremy Fowler throws out there, hey, the Dolphins are looking at Malik Willis.
It's also fair to say at this point, you look at the interest in Mike McDaniel, both the head coach interviews he's done and the offensive coordinator jobs that we're opening for him. That makes it debatable to this day to say that the Dolphins were right not to give him one more season.
Which some of us were saying that we're going to miss that offense.
No, it's absolutely debatable. And Jeff Hafley right now and the new GM have to prove that it was the right decision.
I know that Mike McDaniel and Dolphins fans don't want to hear this right now. He is idiosyncratic and doesn't cut the figure of the leader of men.
I like him. I don't like what Zaz is saying. Rightly ran him out of town.
No,
He's a 500 coach who produced offense.
Fair. I know I keep going back to this anytime I'm talking with you guys about the Mike McDaniel era in Miami. But man, that Monday night game against the Tennessee Titans.
I hate that game. Stop bringing it up.
If they survive that game, Mike McDaniel's job is not in question at this point.
They would have been 10-2.
They host a playoff game. They host the Steelers in all likelihood, and in all likelihood, they win that game. And it's a very different discussion, but erase that. Forget about that alternate reality. For all the stuff about, he's not a serious guy for pro football. He did keep the Dolphins afloat. He was fired 3 months ago. And then the Dolphins, you kind of have to look at the standings if you aren't in Miami, if you're elsewhere in football America. Wait a minute, the Dolphins are kind of hanging around. They've kind of played themselves back into being relevant in the AFC playoff chase here, and you guys just canned him. I don't know if that's the greatest idea.
I don't think he's a head coach. It's very possible, and we've seen this before. There are guys who are great coordinators, but they're not head coaches.
I hear that.
There was no way for Mike McDaniel to be demoted.
He's never
to
been a
offense
coordinator.
I hear that all the time, okay? And I used to hear it about Belichick. And it bothers me that we make that assessment only with the results. The last 8 coaches the Dolphins have hired don't have any head coaching experience. And you may think Halfling is a head coach, but
I don't know.
I don't know. He comes from Worcester Polytech Institute as his starting point. If you guys think he's a head coach, you know more than I do because I don't know. You got Diana telling me, well, he presents well in the interview. That has nothing to do with being a good head coach.
You're forgetting he's a sweetie pie.
Yeah.
I did forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
I would ask Daz directly, did Mike McDaniel seem like a head coach to you when he went to the playoffs, hit both of his first 2 seasons?
Yeah.
When he led the league in passing, had the number 1 passing offense in the league.
So
Well,
he-
Dan, what you're talking about is how he presents in the interview, and something adjacent to that is the dim cynicism expressed in every coaching cycle, and especially this one right now. Look at social media and otherwise this last week or so. Every fan base, the guy who was just fired or is up for a job elsewhere, they're saying they want to interview our coordinator. Haven't they watched our games? It's that sort of empty sort of reaction. Everybody who is close to their team thinks that their coordinator, their head coach, is the issue and needs to go. That should not be a reflection on how good they are or not.
I would just add to Greg's question that he posed to me. Yes, I thought after the first 2 years, this is a really good head coach, Mike McDaniel. But then we get a larger sample size, and my opinion can change. I've seen more. I've actually seen double the amount of time now, from 2 years to 4 years, and I don't believe that to be the case. I think he's a great offensive guy.
But he's a 500 coach. He won half of his games. When he was 9-2, you thought he was a head coach. When they had offense, you thought he was a head coach. And he was 500 as a head coach in 4 years with someone now deemed to not be a good quarterback. Like that. I hate when we do this. We just do it so often, and my starting point is Belichick. I was told when Belichick was hired, not going to work, going to be a defensive coordinator, doesn't present well, and didn't.
Well, the thing about Mike McDaniel is when he was winning, when he was making the playoffs, everybody loved his quirky personality. Oh, he was funny. He was regaling the media. We were all laughing. And then Tua got worse. And then the losing started.
Yeah, not as funny.
And then Mike McDaniel, we're making ums and ahs, and he's terrible. He doesn't even know how to speak. He didn't change, okay? The losing changed our perception of him. He's the same coach as he always was.
Awfully coveted.
Awfully coveted, surprisingly.
I don't think it's surprising.
I was surprised.
I don't think there's anything surprising about that. Raheem Mostert had 18 touchdowns and then was out of the league. What are you guys watching that you think it's surprising that every team in the league is interested in Mike McDaniel? Can he sprinkle something over here that Shanahan, that if I don't have an offensive line, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get 18 touchdowns from Raheem Mostert.
All I mean is that every coach who's fired in the NFL isn't automatically sought after, and he's been highly sought after, both for head coach and coordinator positions. You know, nobody's forgetting about Mike McDaniel. The league, we hear the league saying, you know what? The Dolphins got rid of a pretty good guy. Let's look into him.
Brian Flores head coaching material to you? Just curious. I don't know how much his record was.
Leader
about.
of men.
Okay, is that so? That's what we're doing. Okay.
The biggest thing he's got to run into is like, wait, is he going to sue me?
So, guy who is caveman football coach, caveman masculine, or Mike McCarthy,
Or a great offensive, or a great run game coordinator, like Mike McDaniel. Those are the two things.
You want the Dan Campbell or the Mike Vrabel as the stereotype macho man.
Or the nerd that is just a genius.
Brian Flores would have worked here if he got along with people. Like, that is kind of a quality that a head coach needs to have.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's been resolved, by the way. To answer your question, Dan, Brian Flores, there's been some smoke in other NFL stops as well. That's what might prevent him
you
from
say
getting
that,
a gig.
and one of the funny things that I learned when we were at Dolphin camp is that he had installed, you said smoke, on his office, the glass on his office, he had installed just something that made it not visible because it was smoky, but he would just press. People outside would be coming to see him, and he would just press it, and his office would just go smoky.
I need that on planes for the people sitting next to me.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Dan, I have a new favorite paparazzi photo ever. It was Nicole Kidman after her divorce with Tom Cruise was finalized, where she's like so free in the air. You know what I'm talking about? We have a new one. William Shatner was caught driving with a bowl of cereal eating.
Wow. What?
Yeah. Look
Is
at
he
that.
driving?
He's driving. He's at a red light there. My Ryan thinks it's like a promo because he thinks it's Frosted Flakes, but I don't even know if that's Frosted
Let me
Flakes.
look. Hold on. Zoom
That could
zoom.
be like a Raisin Bran.
That's Raisin Bran.
Gold?
Yeah,
That's
Raisin
Raisin
Bran.
Bran.
Yeah.
You can't really tell exactly what
You were
that
way
cereal
off,
is. So I don't know if this is like PR or not, but I do know that even if it was or was not PR, he got a bowl of cereal, he put the cereal in, he put milk, and then he went for a drive.
How old
and then
is
he
he?
had to put it. He's like,
94.
yeah,
He looks great.
He's like old.
Frosted Flakes glisten more.
Shops at the same hat store as Michael Lombardi.
94 years old, driving is already a dicey
He
proposition.
looks awesome for 94.
Yeah,
He
I
does.
think this is a setup. I don't know for what. Maybe he's got some kind of project coming out, but this seems like a
No,
staged
he watched
photo.
Always Sunny. He watched Always Sunny, and he got the idea and went, "Yep, that's the way to do things."
I think Lucy's right. The best part of this is not that he's eating or even eating something out of a bowl while driving. You have to figure he poured the milk in it before getting into the car because you're not bringing a gallon of milk in the car with you.
He is eating that like a vet, though. That is bowl to chin. The gap there's no gap. He is not
But it's the
spilling.
milk.
There's zero spillage there. If there is spillage, it goes right back in the bowl. That is a man that has eaten cereal in a car many a time. Right.
I'm so sorry to do this to our video team, but have you all seen the video of Michael Rappaport eating on Traitors? He puts the whole plate in his mouth and just slides it in. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, I didn't know humans ate like that. It's nuts.
About a decade ago, because as society's greatest empath, I don't make New Year's resolutions selfishly just for myself. I make them for all of society. And about a decade ago, my New Year's resolution for all of us was to replace plates with bowls. They are a better delivery system than plates for almost everything outside of steak. Like if you want to be able to cut the steak, but outside of that, bowls over plates. Thank you.
Put it on the poll. Should we replace bowls with plates? And is Damashek society's greatest empath? Put those both on the poll. I see the delightful Tim Kirkshin has arrived. This always makes us and the listeners and the viewers happy.
How do you eat, Tim? What do you prefer, bowl or plate?
I'll take a bowl just so it stays in the bowl. I made dinner last night and I put it in a bowl when most people would put it on a plate. Either way is good with me. I eat for fuel, not much more than that.
I'm the opposite. I eat soup out of a plate. I don't get much soup. Thanks, Tim.
Hi, Greg.
How you doing? Good?
Yeah.
All right. Good talking to you. Can I start off with a question for Tim? The Hall of Fame vote happens, right? What a bad ballot. Two guys, Beltran and Andrew Jones get in. All of the first ballot guys got like 0.5% except Cole Hamels. What were your overall thoughts about the election?
Yeah, well, it wasn't a bad ballot, but it was. I usually vote for 10 guys for the Hall of Fame. And there were a couple years there that if I had had 15, 16, 17 votes, which I don't because 10 is the maximum, I would have voted for 17 guys.
Yeah. Well, Tim,
And this year I voted for 3. I'm not proud of that, but I voted for Carlos Beltran, Andrew Jones, and Chase Utley. And the rest, I had trouble leaving Dustin Pedroia off and Felix Hernandez and people like that because I think those guys have a Hall of Fame case. But I guess I'm a big Hall guy to only vote for 3 guys maybe speaks to what the ballot looked like this year. And you're right, the first-timers was not a strong group of first-timers. I was surprised Cole Hamels, I came close to voting for him, but he got 25% of the vote, which is pretty darn good for a first time on the ballot. But you're right, Greg. I've seen way, way, way stronger ballots than this one.
Yeah, and when I say it was a weak ballot, I agree with you. Normally you vote for 10. I think I voted for 5 or 6. But Cole Hamels, I get criticized as a voter for holding sacrosanct the first ballot guy. I'm never going to vote for a guy his first year on the ballot unless I really think he deserves it.
I have another criticism for you today. You want to tell people how you voted? Because you mentioned Andrew Jones.
Yeah.
You're a really inconsistent voter. I don't think you remember how you voted previously.
Yeah, I didn't vote for Andrew Jones for years, and I was in the majority for that.
Well, what the hell changed?
What changed is that some guys...
He's an 8th-year guy.
Some guys are elite Hall of Famers, and some guys are borderline
But why
Hall
not
of
last
Famers.
year? Why this year? And why not next year? Like, what are you doing? Andrew Jones
Let's create
hasn't-
tiers for the Hall of Fame then. If we're going to allow people in, if we're going to reconsider them 15 years later.
Okay, all I can tell you is I'm in the majority here because the majority went 8 years without voting for Andrew Jones, and then gradually over time, the appreciation for him increased, the appreciation for his defense, for what have you. But he's a borderline Hall of Famer.
I will tell you why you're not in the majority. None of those voters did what you did socially when you said why you weren't voting for Andrew Jones 5 years ago.
So, short question. I'll just make a statement. I feel like either a guy's a Hall of Famer or he's not a Hall of Famer. Okay, there's that. But there is someone called, I'll give him the credit, someone called Reed Stewart, great follower of yours on Twitter, okay, loves you apparently. Reed Stewart, but he dug up an old tweet of yours, all right? Mm-hmm. And it's with an old ballot of yours from 5 years ago. And on your ballot, you explained, appreciate all of your comments on my Hall ballot, but one thing jumps out. You Andrew Jones folks are delusional. Seriously, good player. Hall, not close. 0 shot at Cooperstown.
Oh, no.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Okay.
Oh, no,
I
Dad.
agreed that tweet does not age well, but I also quote the famous Zaslow, who just recently on this air said, my opinion changed. Okay.
But my opinion changed with more body of work. You didn't have any more body of work.
Tim, is that offensive, what you just saw? I think Greg Cody should have his vote revoked, like they did to me.
No. Now, let me attempt to explain one reason why some guys just get on. They start getting votes because some years there are, as I've said, 15 guys on the ballot, and 5 of them I believe are Hall of Famers, but you can't vote for them because there's not enough room. In a year like this, when there is plenty of room, in my mind, for a player to move up on, that's how you get left off one year and put on the next, because there is room or there is not room. With Andrew Jones, again, 400 homers and 10 gold gloves, that's Mays, Griffey, Mike Schmidt, Andrew Jones. That's it. It's a pretty short list. And again, I'm almost 70, and I saw Willie Mays play. And Andrew Jones, other than Willie Mays, is the best defensive center fielder that I've ever seen. When I was at SI, I wrote a story on the most difficult play at each position, like when you charge a bunt and have to barehand it at third base, who's the best at that? Well, I took center field and I said the hardest play for a center fielder is the ball hit directly over his head. And when I started looking around and talking to players about who's the best at this, I brought up Ken Griffey Jr., to several of the San Diego Padres, and they literally laughed at me and said, Tim, there is nobody who's ever been better at going back on a ball over his head in center field than Andrew Jones. Now, I maintain Willie Mays was better, but Andrew Jones is that good, and when he's the second best defensive center fielder I've ever seen, and he hit 435 homers, that's why I voted for him.
I would add that there are gradations of Hall of Famers, and it's not a mystery or a crime when a guy takes 8 years to get in. It took Beltran 4 years to get in. King Felix took a big spike in voting this year, which suggests he's going to get in. But again, if you make it your first year, you're an elite Hall of Famer. If you make it your 8th year, you're a borderline Hall of Famer. They're all in Cooperstown, but there are different grades and levels of Hall of Famers.
Are you done tweeting that a guy's 0%, though? You're probably going to learn that lesson.
Okay, based on the electorate then, he seemed to have
You're
zero
not going to
chance.
say, all right,
You're
that
going to
tweet-
double down?
Chris,
No, but
don't
you
shoot
said he's
the
not a
messenger.
Hall of Famer.
I said based on the electorate, then he had zero chance, which he did. I did not expect him.
You're going to defend what you did.
Okay, and Tim will agree with me on this. In the 8th, 9th, 10th year, sometimes you get a bump. You get a sentimental bump because voters realize this is your last chance, or you're coming up to your last. No,
You're
I
either
don't
a Hall
think-
of Famer or you're not, Greg.
Okay, well, that maybe that's
Sentimental bump.
Maybe that's why they stripped your vote from you.
They should strip yours. Like, I can't believe what he just did. Like, what he just read, zero chance on Andrew Jones, and 5 years later, when he's played no baseball games, now he's a Hall of Famer.
Okay, so I'm the first voter who has changed his mind about a player. Get in the real world and grow up on that. Okay, Andrew Jones did not make the Hall of Fame for 7 years. Gradually, the support for him increased. I was part of that gradual support.
You're sheep. You're a lemming.
We're not electing a pope. It's whether or not you're in the Hall of Fame. Are you worthy of it when your name comes up or not? Me and Zaz park our cars in the same garage.
Tim, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do Damashek and Zaz park their cars in the same garage? And does Ed Malloy, NBA referee Ed Malloy, look like the guy who brushes his teeth in the company bathroom? He absolutely does. Like, that is unbelievable how much he looks like that. Does Adam Silver, Tim, look like a knitting needle? Does Adam Silver look like a magician's wand? Does Adam Silver, when he's standing next to Larry Bird, do they look like the couple in the famous painting American Gothic? The Zoom kills us on the looks like segment because his laugh doesn't.
Maybe we'll do a phone hit next time.
It doesn't make a sound when he's laughing. Tim, there are a lot of people pissed off about Kyle Tucker to the Dodgers, and now the Athletic is reporting that there's 100% gonna be a work stoppage because of what has happened with the Dodgers and payroll. They're gonna have a payroll over $400 million in 2026. Only 3 other teams are going to be over $300 million. The Marlins and the Rays project under $100 million. What are your thoughts there?
I think there's going to be a work stoppage also, although I pray all the time that doesn't happen. I'm not blaming all of this on the Dodgers because the Dodgers do an exceptional job of drafting and developing. And when they get a player from another team, he routinely gets better when he comes to the Dodgers. But there's no doubt there are major issues in disparity among the small market teams and the big market teams. And it's not going to be solved by a salary cap because there's just no way the players are going to allow that to happen. So are the Dodgers a part of the problem? Of course they are, but so are the Mets and the Yankees and a bunch of other teams. And baseball needs to fix this, and it is not going to be an easy fix.
Does Dave Damashek look like a realtor that would buy a billboard that reads "License to sell" while posing like James Bond?
Now, I'm sorry, fellas. Who is Who is Dave Damashek? Am I supposed to know
Oh,
this?
this is a career highlight. Tim Kirkjian doesn't know who the hell is Dave Damashek. I'm over the moon, Tim Kirkjian.
That's okay. If you didn't know that one, you might not know this one either. Does Jonathan Zaslow look like your big toe after hitting it on the corner of the bed?
Why is that the one he laughs the hardest at?
Does Jonathan...
No,
He knows
No,
Zaslow, but he
Jonathan.
doesn't know Damashek.
I'm sorry. That is so insulting. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. By the way, none of this matters, but I wear shoes 24, except for when I go to bed and get in the shower. I wear shoes and socks in the house, period, because my father, who was a very smart man, used to tell us, you have a game tonight. Don't break your big toe smashing it up against the couch. Put your shoes on. So they're on all the time. And now when I go into my daughter's house, I have to take off my shoes and put on house shoes that they bought me for Christmas, because those house shoes have not been outside bringing dirt into the house. So now I can still keep my shoes on at my daughter's house, but they're a special kind of shoe that I have to wear, shoes that have never been worn outside. Am I being wrong about this, that I really enjoy having shoes on my feet for protection and for warmth?
I just want to know how many times your father banged his toe and couldn't play in a game that night.
Seriously. That's what
My dad was a good player, and my two older brothers were great college baseball players. And my dad was just not going to allow one of his three boys to get hurt doing something stupid and miss a game that night. I don't think my dad ever missed a game. That wasn't the point. He didn't want it to happen. And I used to tell my daughter, who was a great high school basketball player, put your shoes on. You have a game tonight. I used to tell her that all the time. I told her that the other day. She's 34 years old. She hasn't played basketball in 15 years. And
Never heard of her.
My daughter made 54 out of 56 free throws her senior year in high school. 54 out
Damn
of
good point guard.
56. That's
Damn.
96.4%. And
To be
get this, I'm
exact.
so terrible at technology, but I went to a video editor the other day who took the 4-minute tape of my daughter's senior year in high school, her basketball tape, and he put it on my phone. So now in my photos, I have a 4-minute video that all I have to do is press a button, and I can watch a video of my daughter's senior year in high school. Is that ridiculous? Am I being stupid about that too?
Does it bring you to tears? And I'm not being
does.
facetious. Yeah.
It
That's
does.
great.
It
Greg
was
just
one of
voted
the-
her into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
And my grandson is now 5, and he went to basketball the other day for the first time. 5 years old. He was 4 when he went the first time. He just turned 5. And he was clearly the best player there. And his dad said, boy, you have the best shooting form, Karkar, of anybody there. And he said, wow, I learned it from mommy. And that's because he watched the tape that I made of Mommy's senior year with the perfect follow through and the perfect finish. Talk about holding the finish. It was great. And my daughter's like 3 feet tall, and she made 54 out of 56. So please don't tell me NBA players can't shoot free throws. If you work at it, you can.
How about that?
Does Jonathan Zaslow look like he says, uh-oh, spaghetti-o, when he sees someone pulled over?
He loves mine.
Well, this one's a good one. Does Jonathan Zaslow look like an off-duty mime? That one's exceptional. I've got a handful of Curt Cignetti's for you. Are you ready for some Curt Cignetti's? Does he look like the dad who never says I love you? Does he look like your accountant who, unbeknownst to you, is in the middle of a crippling divorce?
Read yesterday. No one ever tweets at me ever, which is fine. And then yesterday I looked on there, there are like 50 tweets sent to me because of you put it out there that so-and-so looks like so-and-so. It was hilarious.
Does Curt Cignetti look like the uncle who comes to your house for Thanksgiving and before even saying hello says, your doorknob's loose?
God.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tim. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I have one of my own, which I think I've told you before, that some guy tweeted at me several years ago. Tim Kurkjian looks like what Steve Carell is going to look like when he gets really, really old.
That's not bad. That's not
And
bad.
I looked it up. Steve Carell is only 6 years younger than me, but I look like he's going to look like when he gets not really old, really, really old.
Does Fernando Mendoza look like he makes his animal crackers fight each other before he eats them? This is a good one. Does Fernando Mendoza look like the cashier in a 1960s McDonald's poster? That one is exceptional. I saw that Dave Dombrowski said it was a gut punch, Tim, to see Bichette go to the Mets, and then started talking a lot about not feeling like they had a deal done because a deal's never done until it's done. But I was surprised to hear Dombrowski feel, I guess, a little bit betrayed. What did you make of those comments and that transaction?
Yeah, very unlike Dave Dombrowski to say something like that, because he usually gets whoever he wants because he's really good at this. But I happen to think Bo Bichette is a really, really good hitter still. I mean, he came back last year. He didn't play from September the 6th until the World Series, and then was a tough out in the World Series. He's going to have a great year for the Mets. He's going to play third base. He's not going to play shortstop, obviously. He can play third base. He's going to be a really good player for them. And yes, the Phillies could have really used him to play, the outfield or somewhere in the infield when third base, when they need some help. So yes, I thought he was going to the Phillies, but he's really going to help the Mets. And I'm still surprised that Dave Dombrowski would basically acknowledge, I didn't get somebody, because he usually gets his man.
From the bottom up, 3, 2, 1, give me the offseason's biggest transactions. I will tell the people, I'll give you a minute to think about this, 3, 2, 1. But he's the host of Is This a Great Game or What? He does the podcast with his son, Jeff. It's a passion project. It's a project of great love. I urge you, not just for baseball, but for family, I urge you to subscribe to Is This a Great Game or What? That he does with his son, Jeff, Tim Kurkjian. If not for Ron McGill, he'd be, by consensus, the most popular guest who's ever been on this show. The biggest 3 transactions, starting with number 3 this offseason. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, I think Dylan Cease going to the Blue Jays is number 3, because it's just another, and they spent $210 million for him. It's just another reminder of this is where the Blue Jays are. They're the best team in the American League. They have the 5th highest payroll. When they went to the World Series, they recognized that things are really changing here in Toronto. So they've added a bunch of people, and to add another star player, a pitcher with a great arm, I think is a sign that the Blue Jays are here for the long term. They got a taste of what it's like to be in the World Series and what it did to their ballpark, their fan base. So that would be number 3 for me. Number 2 would be, let's see. Kyle Tucker has to be number 1, but let me see. Number 2, the Dodgers had a chance. Dodgers had a terrible bullpen last year, and they won the World Series. And then they went out and got Edwin Diaz, the closer for the Mets, who was a free agent. They only had to pay him only $69 million. So they won the World Series in 2024 without a starting rotation. They won the World Series in 2025 without a bullpen. Now they've added a dominant closer. So now their pitching is just ridiculously good. And now their lineup is ridiculously good because Kyle Tucker, who was the best player on the market, signed with the Dodgers. He'll play right field every day. And that lineup is loaded just as much as their pitching is loaded.
Tim, we thank you for your time. We love seeing you. I will tell the people again to listen and subscribe to Tim and Jeff Kirkshin's podcast, Is This a Great Game or What? What is the strangest thing you've eaten in your car? We had the bowl of cereal. What would you identify as the strangest thing? I go chicken wings. I've eaten chicken wings in the car, and that's my greatest shame. And I had worry while I was eating them. Someone's going to take a picture of this, and I'm not going to be able to explain it. That I couldn't wait to get home to eat the chicken wings.
Yeah, I am always in a hurry, so sometimes I eat while I'm driving because I don't have time to stop and sit and eat. So I've eaten oatmeal many, many times in a car, many times. Now, it's pretty thick, so it's not like it's going to be falling out of the bowl. It's a thick oatmeal, but I've eaten oatmeal in the car many times.
Does Kurt Warner look like the villain in a Christmas movie who wants to take over the North Pole and make the elves pawns in his capitalist scheme?
Jeff Van Gundy looks like he works in an ice cream parlor.
Soda jerk from the 60s, also the Queen of Hearts. Tim, good seeing you. Thank you. Always nice seeing you. Always a pleasure. Do you guys believe that Ron McGill looks like your recently divorced mom's first date, who, when you answer the door, is vigorously chewing his gum and combing his hair with his palm comb as he leans ever so slightly back to gander at the size of the home while never once acknowledging you with his eyes? And he's coming to bleep. Like he's there to make love to your mom. What is the strangest thing you guys have eaten in the car? Shameful admissions only. Do we not have any strange car eaters?
Rotisserie chicken.
What?
And I'll dip it into the side of mashed potatoes. With my free mitt.
William Shatner, I should say, you guys say he shouldn't be driving. He still not only tours, but drives across the country while touring. Does so at 2 a.m., 94. I mean, he might be 95 now because the last time I spoke to him, we did a South Beach session. Yeah, he does look amazing.
His hair, too.
Yeah, he
Hat store.
Was 94. Is he now?
94. Birthday is March 22nd, 1931.
Wow.
Zaslow, do you have any shameful eating, strange eating things? Chris, are you careful about this? Because us heavy guys have to be careful about doing this in public.
I don't think strange for me, but like,
oh boy. What's your excuse this week?
I just have every fast food place you can think of. Like nothing that would be odd. I'm trying to think of odd items. Yeah,
I
let's
just
cut
have
that up, guys.
more fast food than you would think. Like, however much you're thinking, more.
I did the other day get one of those ice cream, like an ice cream from somewhere, and it was like one of those ones with a small bowl, and it goes really tall. And I'm like, I should eat this before. But
Soft serve?
It was soft serve, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to eat it in the car, and that was a mistake.
Zaslow, you did not finish your thought.
I don't eat in the car.
No, wait a minute. You didn't finish the thought because you just you bailed. You were leaking so much confidence
nothing to add.
that you bailed.
Yeah.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for leaking confidence.
Chris,
I needed that laugh, dude.
He's had a bad week. Go ahead and find for me his most shameful butchering of the broadcasting language that we have from the last week. Which is better here, Damashek, as someone who doesn't mind a stammer with his yammer? Which is the worst of these crimes Zaslow has committed as a broadcaster?
The Packers win or the Bears lose.
And again, reminder that it was the reverse of that. It was, did the Bears win or the Packers lose?
The Packers win or the Bears lose.
He got it. This delights it. So which one's better, though? That one or this one?
Didn't you want to know how that? What were the kids doing?
Well, that would be your world champion, except that Mike Ryan's, oh boy, at the end of it.
I mean, I think we've got we've got a recent nominee.
Didn't you want to know how that?
Oh boy,
what were the kids doing?
Let's cut up what just happened to Zaslow because he's wearing it on his face today, like he didn't shave,
like a good off-duty mime.
That's a great one. Like, there are a number of great ones there, but he absolutely looks like a mime.
He does.
Out of work, hard times, Like, he's not a mime who's presently working. He's a failed mime. It's not just off duty. It's not a successful mime. It's a mime who's gotten 17 cents his last 4 outings.
Why isn't he in there practicing his craft and being in a glass cage? Right
Yeah, go ahead, Zaz. Practice.
So good, man.
Look how happy Greg Cody
Man,
is.
I had to prevent myself from snorting just then. I'm so happy.
Does Jonathan Zaslow look like the guy at an arcade who puts a stack of quarters on the Pac-Man game to send a message to any kids that he's going to be there for a while? Look how miserable.
Sad Zaz.
Honestly, turn my mood around.
He's both.
My face hurts from smiling so much.
I mean, he's seething and he's hurt, and
he's miming.
And Chris Cody is desperately searching as fast as he can to try and find the latest mistake, which he just bailed after the question. He just slumped in his chair, stopped talking, and just failed, admitted the failure, and just sank into his own sewage.
I don't think strange for me.
Easy for him to say.
He's a rising star at ESPN Radio, getting more and more opportunities to broadcast well.
I don't think strange for me.
He is seething right now and hurting. Speaking of seething, I saw that Baker Mayfield has gotten into the news stream here by going after Kevin Stefanski for dumping him like a, quote, piece of garbage and saying, can't wait to see you twice a year, coach. That division, man, shouldn't be threatening anybody. Like that, it can only threaten other teams in the division because that's the minor leagues. That division is the minor leagues, and Baker Mayfield being the best and the most outspoken of the quarterbacks in that division isn't much of a tribute. But I do understand why Baker Mayfield feels the way that he does. I remember talking about this back when Mike still cared about the Browns. He physically tried so hard to lift up the Odell Beckham Browns, the only Browns team in the last 30 years to have any expectations, that he damn near wrecked his career trying to physically play through shit for that coach. And so I understand why he is hurt by Stefanski. But do you guys remember where this started? Because this is just a tweet from somebody named Orlando Ledbetter, a reporter for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Are they still printing? Is the Atlanta Journal-Constitution still printing? I thought they went out of business. Falcons' Kevin Stefanski had a dumpster fire at quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson failed, which started a chain reaction to 11 other starters. Shedeur Sanders closed out last season with 7 starts. And Baker says, failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text or call from Stefanski after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach.
That's amazing. If that's true, and why wouldn't it be? Because it can be vetted. If that's true that they fired him, they traded or released Baker Mayfield without the head coach saying goodbye or explaining it or telling him first, that's pretty outrageous.
Yeah, failed is so close. What the Browns did was bailed on Baker Mayfield. They had this is a guy who beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh in a playoff game and then had a bum shoulder, and everyone knew it in the organization and out, and they decided, they added it all up, not good enough. We have to go and pay Deshaun Watson $230 million on purpose. And by the way, it's not just that they traded away Baker Mayfield, as I always will point out with this. They also gave away a lot of draft picks that would have turned into people who play football, presumably at a high end. And that Browns roster would be mighty right now if they could just undo the Deshaun Watson thing and just retain Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Baker was not a failure when you consider where the Browns were before Baker arrived. You mentioned the win at Pittsburgh, a win that goes under Kevin Stefanski's record, even though he had COVID and was not actually able to be there.
In his literal basement.
In his literal basement. Baker kind of occupies this Jimmy Butler zone where everyone just kind of understands this is the fuel that undersized guy needs to get his game to the level that it is. So none of this stuff really sticks to him. It's kind of crazy, and I'm here for it. That's awesome that sports has this.
So Baker saying, can't wait to see you twice a year, Coach. I can wait to watch all of the games being played in that division. I don't want to watch anything being done in that division by anyone.
Agree. It's kind of like consuming professional wrestling for me. I don't need to see the match. What I want is the pregame chat. This heat is great for football. This is what sports needs more of. Actual hatred and rivalry and all the rest of it.
Is Atlanta supposed to be any good? Like I keep expecting. Kyle Pitts was better this year, but I thought Kyle Pitts was going to be a dominant player, and I don't know if Michael Penix is going to be healthy. I don't know what Atlanta has. I don't know why Stfansky would be rehired, honestly. I don't know why he would be a
coach of the year.
He's won coach of the year twice.
Yeah.
I rate Kevin Stefanski. I really like him from my time being a Cleveland Browns fan. I think he showed you in that season that Baker
if you
won.
could do any kind of winning in Cleveland, I think you get credit.
And then he made the playoffs with Joe Flacco at quarterback. The Browns were a disaster before Kevin Stefanski arrived. He won 2 Coach of the Years with Cleveland. He runs a really good offense. I think he's going to be successful. I genuinely wish him the best, too. I'm excited to see him actually coaching with a new organization to prove that he still has the goods, and I'm super pumped to watch Baker play him twice.
I think I'm sorry, Dave. I think Dan's right about Atlanta. I feel like every year we talk about how talented Atlanta is.
Yeah. Well, Penix, though, hadn't been around long
Whoa, golly.
Penix hasn't been around long enough to write him off yet, right? Like, we're still thinking he might be
Pull a little
pretty
further
good.
back from the mic if you can.
So,
Yeah.
So you were close to the mic when clearing your throat,
Right.
but then
And then as he
when-
made the good point,
but
he's like,
when-
Zaz, as I really make this point.
it's really strange,
You know, I'm
Greg.
trying to be a natural man here. When I'm making a point, I lean back for emphasis. It just doesn't happen to work when you're involved with a microphone.
I think that you have to regard Kevin Stefanski's time in Cleveland like you do Robert De Niro and Rocky and Bullwinkle. You can't hold it against him for the larger production being a garbage mess.
I mean, the last 10 years of De Niro, you had any number of selections you could have gone to of the last 10 years of De Niro's work. You went Rocky and Bullwinkle.
That's the only one I had access to.
Greg, you are delighting in Zaslow's failures here, and
I'm just joshing.
And Zaslow, I do believe, is a bit mortified by your difficulties with just speaking into the microphone.
Right.
Between the two of you, you guys delighting in each other's miseries. Look, let's tickle Greg Cody with a little more Zaz, shall we?
I don't think strange for me, but like,
Oh, boy.
you doctored that. That's definitely not how I said it. I don't think strange for me, but like,
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I don't believe
Yeah,
it.
no, that was it.
That's edited.
Yeah.
That's not edited, and
The Packers win or the Bears lose.
I believe that is also a tinge, an undercurrent of pity from Mike Ryan with the, oh boy.
I don't think strange for me, but like,
Oh, boy.
it is definitely not pity. He is so he loves that I did that. He loves calling me out in the post-show meeting because of that.
Whoa.
He says
Dan
that
wrote it down.
He does.
Dan comes and praises all of us, says we did a great show, and then Mike says, I got one more thing to add. Zaslow, be better tomorrow.
That was a really bad sequence.
I don't think strange for me, but like,
Oh, boy.
A lot to talk about with Jessica. We'll get to her in just a second, but Sedano's got just a couple of minutes here in between the show that he's doing in Los Angeles. Does a very popular radio show every morning in Los Angeles. Sedano, your appraisal, your telling of the story standing next to me at the Valet. Give the people the information from your vantage point.
Okay, so we are coming back from lunch, you and I, a couple days ago. And you tell me, hey, can you give the ticket to the guy? I'm going to run to the restroom real quick. I said, hey, no problem. So I give the guy the ticket. Guy orders the car. You come out and you're about to give the guy a 20 because I think the Valet was like 15. And the guy says, oh, man, we don't take cash. And you say, what do you mean you don't take cash? And he goes, you said, this is America, Jack.
Jack.
Money is good here in America still. Cash is still good. And the guy literally says to you, sir, this is my second day. I'll call my boss. Hold on a second. He's like terrified. And then the boss comes over, like kind of on the phone. I guess he's talking to his bigger boss. And he says, sir, we don't take cash. We do things digitally. And you're like, but this is America. What do you mean? Cash is still good in America. You're going to take my cash, and you put the crispy $20 on the stand, and then like turned around and looked at me, and I'm mortified. I don't know what's happening here. I thought you knew the guy. And the guy's like, okay, sir, well, let me figure this out, and don't worry. And you're just telling him it's America. Cash is still good in America. And I'm standing there going, what the hell is happening here? And he's being super polite. He's like, all right, sir, we'll figure it out. And then he gets off the phone with, I guess, his boss. This is the second guy, and says, okay, sir, here's your card. Don't worry about it. We'll deal with it. So he's like then taking the cash and then paying for your parking himself with some sort of digital payment, whether it's Venmo or Zelle or something like that. And then we get in the car, and you say to me, "It was okay, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was okay, I guess. Yeah, it wasn't too bad." Inside, I was like, in my head, going, "Dan, what the hell did you just do?"
Wow.
I also believe I did say cash is still good in America for now. I believe I said for now.
You did add for now. There was that caveat. Yes,
So we get to the Trump card.
How many times did you tell them it's America?
I think I didn't say Jack.
Easily 4 times.
I didn't say. I might have said Jose. I didn't say Jack. That's Cody's move. I wouldn't steal the move.
No, thank you. I have a patent on that.
That's Cuban embellishment from Sedano. All right, Sedano, thank you.
Okay, very slightly Cuban embellishment. But Dan, there's a Reddit page called "Am I the A-hole?" And I would say, and they, a lot of people put up different scenarios of two sides of the coin. I would say that if the Valet crew put up, "Am I the a-hole here?" they would say you were the a-hole in that scenario.
How about you? Where does your vote land?
I was just an innocent bystander. Like, I didn't know what the hell to do.
Feels like he thought you were the asshole.
Okay, but where do you land? Do you vote on I'm the asshole?
I love you, but you're the a-hole.
Okay, thank you for being on with us. Jessica, where do you vote here? I saw your faces. You were making faces. You're saying I shouldn't have done that. There was not a Jack there. There might have been one This Is America. I mean, I don't think there were 4 This Is Americas.
I put a little bit of blame on Sedano just for being a bad friend, because when you get back in the car after that scenario, that's when he has to be honest with you and say, Dan, this behavior was a little embarrassing, not very acceptable, and next time we'll do better.
He could have also paid while I sent him out there to the bathroom. I mean, I paid for lunch. He could have taken, he's got a card. He could have paid. He makes money.
Another point against Sedano. I don't know. Maybe you're both the a-hole.
Can you take us through you watching the ending of the national championship game?
I can take you through the whole game, which I watched a combo of the Skycast and the Coach's Film Room. Dan, I don't know if you guys recall, but Coach's Film Room probably 4 years ago was the first time that the Jimbo Fisher character made an appearance on this show, because he was in the Coach's Film Room with, I believe, members of his staff at Texas A&M. And man, it was such a fun watch with Jimbo. So I dabbled in it a little bit this year to see how it would go with Mike Gundy, Dave Clawson, Gene Chizik, and Steve Adazio. I know, Lucy, Dave Clawson, not your favorite guy. This is also a kind of a weird bunch of coaches, but I enjoyed it. One flaw though, they were like too in the weeds on Coach's Film Room doing replays. Like I liked the information they were giving me, but they kept showing replays while there was stuff happening in the game. And I was watching with my best friend who went to Indiana, and she was screaming at me and her husband to put it back on Skycast because we kept missing stuff. So then we put it on the Skycast, which was awesome for most of the types of plays you'll see in a football game. However, the blocked punt, Skycam was way on the other side of the field. We had no idea what was going on. We missed the whole thing. And then we put it back on the regular ESPN broadcast for a little bit. And then for the end of the game, we were back on Skycast, and the interception was awesome on Skycast because you kind of just saw it coming the whole way. So anyways, I love the simulcast for the national championship game. And now I wish we had it for every game. I wish I could do Sunday Ticket with a Skycast component and watch the Skycast of all of the NFL games I want to watch on a Sunday, because it's so peaceful and it's so awesome, and you get to see so much more of the lines of scrimmage, and I just really enjoy it, Dan.
Jess, so obviously I was at the game. I didn't get to watch. Did you get to see the Dr. Pepper commercial?
Yes, Lucy, I was like, wait a second, was that the jingle? And then I posted about it on Blue Sky, and someone was like, I don't know why they didn't wait until the Super Bowl. And I was like, you know what? That's a good point. That would have been a good time to unveil it. But I know Dr. Pepper and college football and ESPN have like a whole thing. So anyways, what did you think about that? I thought it was actually a great surprise.
I was devastated that I missed it. So for those of you who don't know, there was this girl on TikTok and she said, hey, I have an idea for a jingle for Dr. Pepper. And she just like sang this little song. And everyone was like, you know what? Pretty good jingle. And then we thought we would never hear about it again. And then I get notifications during the game Monday that they're like, hey, they put the jingle in a commercial. And now Dr. Pepper has teamed up with this girl from TikTok who sang this song. And if you're online, you know it was a really big deal. But you guys don't seem to care that much.
Dr. Pepper, baby, it's good and nice.
It's
right?
so good. Like, isn't that
That's
a great
so
jingle?
cute.
And so we were so shocked.
Cody
and it was
just
a very
voted
big
that girl
deal.
into the Hall of Fame.
I did. Shit, what a great song.
You have given me some ideas.
It's fantastic. Jess, I wanted to get more to the emotion of what you were feeling Monday night, because to a lot of Notre Dame fans, I'm guessing Miami's the team that bumped you out of the playoff. It had to be. How thrilled were you that Miami not only lost, but lost the way they did? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, you did, and that's okay. I don't really feel like Miami did bump Notre Dame. I feel like Alabama bumped Notre Dame, to be honest with you. So when they got their asses handed to them in the Rose Bowl, I felt a little bit of like, okay, cathartic. But to be honest with you, Greg, like this, it's been, I don't know how many weeks since the last regular season college football game that I watched. I kind of moved on to next year when it comes to Notre Dame. So I was just fully enjoying the game. All I was rooting for was a good football game. And when it was only 10-0 at halftime, I was like, I think this is going to be a good football game. And I think the stop that Miami had coming back from the half when Indiana got the ball to start the second half was huge. And then it kind of just, from that point forward, it felt like a real game. So I was really happy that we got a great end to the season with it. And to be honest with you, didn't really care too much who won. Although, like I said, I was watching the game with my best friend who went to Indiana. So after Indiana won, I realized how happy I was to experience that with her. It was really nice. It was a lot of fun.
Check out her weekly Notre Dame podcast, The Echoes, with Mike Golick Jr. One of the things that I thought was interesting about the game is the Indiana offensive lineman after the game saying, look, we knew that defensive line was good, but holy. So what you get, what you end up getting in that game is that Indiana really has only 2 touchdown drives. One aided by multiple Miami penalties, the other aided by 2 fourth down calls that were exceptional. So you get basically 2 touchdown drives from Indiana. There were a lot of things that happened in that game that I thought Miami would have settled for before the game, would have wanted the game to play out that way, but they lost it anyway.
To be fair, there were also a couple drives where, you know, the refs were letting them play that could have been extended by penalties, especially the one early on with the late hit on Mendoza. But yeah, I think Bill Connolly's post-game win expectancy metric is something I usually look at just as an indicator on, you know, what really is going on with some of the stats in the games. And like, if you played this game 100 times, like what's the outcome going to be? And I think Indiana's post-game win expectancy was only 14% after that. And the block punt is a huge swing in a game like that, because if you looked at like first half statistics, I think Indiana was offensively just doing a lot better, playing their game a lot better. Miami's defense, you know, obviously you had a player that was out because of the targeting penalty, and that sort of helped after the second half started. But Miami's defense was playing well, but they weren't, you know, I will also criticize Indiana and Miami both with their second half, like end of half clock management. Miami settling for the long field goal there, and then Indiana had a chance to get into field goal range and kind of let some time wind down, which I thought was strange. So only 10-0, but, you know, Indiana has offense played better in the first half. And then the second half, I thought, if you look at, you know, any of the success rate, EPA per play, any of those statistics, like Miami ended up playing overall throughout the game had a much more successful offense in the game. So I think, you know, I don't know if you say like tale of two halves or something like that, but that's why getting those first half points was really important for Indiana. And then having the blocked punt was a huge swing in that game. And I also, like, I posted this online while I was watching it, but the drive at the end when Indiana had 4th and 4 and had to, well, the false start was unfortunate. One of the worst timed false starts ever, possibly. But Indiana had to make a decision if they were going to kick a field goal, go up 6, or try to get a first down, try to score, go up 7. And I, to be honest, was pretty critical of that decision to kick the field goal there, because I don't think going up 6 gets anything for you. So I kind of felt like everything was going right for Miami to come back and score the winning touchdown. And unfortunately, the interception happened at the end. But yeah, in a tight game, things like block punts really, really matter, Dan. And things like false starts really, really matter.
I was worried about that kid's future and how haunted he was going to be if they lost that game for false starting in that situation. And the Steelers coaching search, when you say Mike McCarthy... How do you feel about the Steelers coaching search?
Did you guys see this photo that Tom Pelissero posted on his social media with a whole thing about Mike McCarthy? Okay, if you zoom in, this is an AI-generated image. If you zoom in on Mike McCarthy's right ear, there's just like a cigarette floating up there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It makes me so angry.
He put the cigarette on the side of his head and it just stuck there. That happens to every Pittsburgher. Did you know that?
Sometimes it does. That's true. I would love if there was just like a pierogi sticking out of his ear too, Dave. But yeah, so the AI slop image aside, this would be like the most un-Steelers like hire of all time. So I just don't believe that this is gonna happen. Dave, I need to know what you think. I just don't there's no part of me that can believe that this is actually a reality that we're living in right now. And like Mike McCarthy's gonna coach his hometown team, and Aaron Rodgers is gonna come back for a year. Like we're getting the gang back together. I do not believe this.
First of all, I don't want to be overly formal, but please, it's national champion Dave Damashek. Yeah, the idea that it's because the Steelers players, including their leadership, obviously their tenured guys, Cam Hayward and T.J. Watt, want to run it back with Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, is not a reason to run it back. Does everybody realize that they have not won a playoff game? That's why Mike Tomlin is out now. Who cares what their wish list is? This era needs to be purged. They need to see if they can figure out a way to move on from TJ Watt.
Yeah, it's just like weird. It's a weird report that's been out there, and the cigarette in the ear just made me believe it was all a farce.
How about Marcus Freeman, though?
He was asked like 6 times in his press conference last week if he wanted to coach in the NFL, and I don't believe he does right now. And he already tweeted that he was coming back for the year. Certainly doesn't seem to be operating in the way that he would leave. But, I think like someone like Chris Shula does just make a lot more sense. Even Nate Scheelhaus makes a lot more sense.
Too, Jess.
Yeah, I think that would be wise. I think you need to inject some youth there and just kind of start over with things. And please don't bring back Aaron Rodgers.
Your thoughts here on William Shatner, 94 years old, driving in his car while clearly eating cereal.
I'm with national champion Dave Damashek. I've eaten rotisserie chicken in the car. I've had ribs in the car. I've done it all in the car, really. So this is nothing to me.
Ribs in the car. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Have you ever eaten a rotisserie chicken in the car? Have you ever eaten ribs in the car? Zaslow just left.
Have you done it all in the car?
Have you done it all in the car as well? Zaslow will not eat finger food. He will not eat something like ribs, even though ribs are universally.
Oh, you think he's too good for finger food?
He is. He does think he's too good for finger food. We're going to go to him in a second in the eating area because we've got a new sponsor, a great new sponsor, White Castle, and he's going to give us a take, a microwaved take. He's got the microphone. Does the microphone already work? He's just gotten into position. You can explain to Jess yourself, Zaz, if the microphone works, why it is you won't eat anything with your hands. You've never had ribs, correct?
I've had them, but it got to a point when I was younger where this is not worth the trouble. I don't like eating food that makes me super messy, all right? You get it all over your hands. It's all over my face. I look like an idiot. So to me, I'm not trying to take a bath after I have dinner, all right? So no, I don't do ribs. It doesn't taste good enough to me to go through trouble. Sorry, not sorry.
Jessica, you got any thoughts on that as a prolific ribs eater?
You don't eat wings?
Wings I have softened up to. I've started eating wings again. Wings, I think, are light years better than ribs.
This nerd with his silverware.
Whatever.
Get out of here.
Taste better, or you mean mess factor?
Both.
Wings are very, very good.
Yeah, both.
But barbecue ribs are the number one.
Not for me,
If it's
player.
time
I'm a Zaz.
for you to be put down by the man, capital punishment, your final meal should be
No, I'm
barbecue
Team
ribs.
Zaz. Ribs, way worse than wings.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Wings or ribs? Just go ahead
Terrible.
and pick. Again, I will tell you, Mike Kolick Jr., The Echoes. She does a weekly Notre Dame podcast. Always nice to see you, Jess. Thank you for being on with us. Appreciate it. She said a bunch of words, but
I think she said we'll talk about heated rivalry next week.
okay.
Did I get that right?
I couldn't read her lips because it was quiet. I've been remiss in not promoting a couple of things that Greg Cody is involved in. First of all, there's the Greg Cody podcast featuring Greg Cody.
Greg Cody Show with, thank you.
The Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody is a podcast. Where are you right now on catchphrases? You're doing your top 50 catchphrases of all time.
Yep.
Chris Cody apologized earlier in the earlier. Please,
Pardon me.
yeah, no, do that 7 or 8 more times.
Asthma.
When you're doing a bit 25 weeks in a row, unveiling 2 sayings every week, they can't all be winners.
Right.
And this was the first week for me. It's the 3rd week doing it. The first time where I was like, okay, not as great as the first
They
time.
can all be winners. Choose only winners.
He won't let me have a say.
No,
You don't have to do top 50 catchphrases when your dad doesn't have 50 catchphrases.
These were numbers 46 and 45.
What
I
do we
invite
got?
people to listen to the podcast
Give one.
to find out.
Give one.
I forget what they were, to be honest.
That is insane.
Is they all can't be winners one of them?
No.
So you don't know.
This
You
is
want to promote
insane.
your
I
podcast?
literally don't
Okay,
remember.
great. So
That is
also
insane.
can
No,
you-
in Greg's defense, his mind is fuller than.
So I was
full.
right. They
Thank
weren't
you.
good.
Thank you. Was that one of them, or was that the
That
week
was number
before?
50.
It was 50.
Greg, how do you have no recollection of the things
I
you're
didn't
doing on your
expect
show?
I didn't expect to be asked. Do you remember every single little thing you say? in your
no,
show?
but you tell me every week, don't forget to promote my podcast. Every
No, I
week
don't.
you're like,
No. The weeks you don't do it, I don't say a word. Mum's the word.
that is in no way true. Mum is not the word.
Yeah, mum's
That-
the
That's
word.
not in any way true.
That's what my mom told me. Christopher, do you remember the names? The
I at least
One of
admitted
them?
that I
This
didn't
is
like
great
them.
promotion.
I know.
Like the way that
Let's
you
all
do
listen
things.
to it together to figure out what they were.
What are you doing with Ron McGill this weekend?
Ron and I are doing a book thing at the Miami-Dade Public Library main branch on Flagler. Those of you from South Florida who want to come say hello to Ron and I and get a signed copy of the book, feel free. I believe it starts at 1:30 p.m. At the library. So we'll see you there Saturday.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are you surprised that there are still libraries? Let's go out to Zaslow here, Chris Cody, and a new sponsor that we're excited about. Who doesn't love White Castle?
Oh my God, Dan! I had 2 yesterday. I mean, if you talk about a sponsor that just brings me back, White Castle, and we're doing Bet the Castle, which is presented by White Castle. Hunger says eat. Cravings say eat this. And with White Castle 100% beef, grilled onions, melty cheese, and steamy buns that hold it all together, how can you not? Crave thy castle. Zaslow, what do you got?
I got White Castle right here. I'm going to make, it looks like the flavor I got is cheddar, bacon, cheese. But let me also tell you guys, I'm going to do this in 60 seconds here, all right? But let me also tell you, I got some action tonight, all right? You know about that action, guys?
I know about that action.
Let me tell you about that action. Tonight, I like the Brooklyn Nets. Why do I like the Brooklyn Nets tonight? Because they're playing the New York Knicks, all right? And the New York Knicks right now are a total disaster. They've lost 9 of their last 11 games, and the Nets are getting 11.5 points. I think Mike Brown from the Knicks could be on the verge, maybe losing the team, guys. And if they lose at home at the Garden to the stupid Nets, oh boy. I mean, that New York media, I don't know if you know about the media there, Dan. You know about that media? They're a little bit tough, all right? So I like the Brooklyn Nets tonight. I'm going to roll with them plus 11.5 because the Knicks are a disaster.
Rare time where a coach gets fired in Thibodeau, and then they bring in a new coach, and before even halfway through the year, he's lost the team. It seemed like a thing they were doing for the players. It's weird, Zaz.
Yep, absolutely. And apparently, I don't know if you saw a few days ago, like that game against the Warriors, a game that the Warriors beat the Knicks. You know, Draymond Green. Remember, he called Karl-Anthony Towns soft for missing a game for a funeral, and then he committed a flagrant foul on him in that game, very dirty. And Mike Brown is hugging and kissing Draymond, not just during the game, but also after the game. Bad look.
Time. Oh, I want that burger. Did you put 2 in there? Because I want one.
Hold on, though. I'm a little worried about this. Zazzle, please be careful because that's a small burger. You put a small, nice, delicious White Castle burger in there, and I think a minute is a little too long in terms of the amount that you have
learn.
eaten.
Perfect.
We gonna learn.
Oh, that looks so good.
Oh, my God.
He's kidding.
Oh,
my God.
White Castle is so good.
Perfect.
It's so
Takes
good.
me back. God, do I love White Castle.
60 seconds just right.
You put a little thing of ketchup on the
Really
side.
good.
I'm dipping every bite in
Doesn't
ketchup.
even need it. Totally flavorful without anything added on.
Pro move with the White Castle. You don't have to put the condiments on it. You eat it as is. You dip. It's a dipping vessel.
Excellent.
Oh,
Excellent.
give me one of those right now.
Zazzle, what else will you not eat with your hands? You're an unusual eater. There are any number of things you've said on the show you have not or would never eat. Olives are one of them, right? You've never
I've never even had an olive. But I could tell, Dan, when I look at a food, even if I've never had it before, I could tell if I like it. And I don't like olives.
That is some crazy.
What else? Do you have any other peculiarities when it comes to things that you simply will not eat with
Yeah, I mean
your
they're like
hands?
certain beverages that I've never even had. I've never had root beer. I have no idea what it tastes like.
Oh, it's so good. You're missing out.
It's
not that good.
I don't think I would
crazy.
like it. I know.
We should have him on Mystery Crate to try root beer.
Put it
Your
on the
life will
poll.
stay the
Have you ever had Dr. Pepper?
Nope, never.
What? There's 23 flavors.
No idea what it tastes like. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay,
Living my life.
You don't feel like you're missing anything. Okay.
How's that White Castle, though? Man, that looks good.
Oh, good.
Sure does.
At Le Batard Show, please. Do you trust anyone who has never had root beer, olives, or ribs?
Yes. No, I don't.
You can't trust that person.
No.
These are normal things to eat, and you can't decide. You can't be so close-minded that you can decide before eating olives that you'll never like olives.
I ate my first olive about a decade or so ago because growing up, every olive I ever saw was one of the green kind with the red thing.
Yes.
And I thought that looked unnatural and unseemly. It wouldn't pass my lips. I've learned as a grown-up to enjoy the olive. However, I remain resentful of the fact that after you eat it, you have to spit. That's gross.
Jeremy has root beer on him.
Yeah, I
right
do.
now.
To
spit out
He
the
has
pit.
Root beer.
I drink A&W zero sugar root beer like it.
Oh, get that zero sugar
It
out
is like a fiend. And even for that matter, at my Publix, there's clearly one other A&W zero sugar root beer person because sometimes I go there, totally sold out of all of it, or it's totally full, which means me and one other person in my Publix are the only two people that drink it. That's what it has to be. But I have it with me right now, Zaz, if you want to try it.
Zero sugar is not
we're
where
not
he
starting
should
there.
start. He shouldn't start with zero
No,
sugar.
it is just
What
as
drink are we
sweet and
talking about?
delicious as
No,
any other root
no,
beer.
it
You
is
guys are
not.
clearly not root beer
No, it's
connoisseurs.
not.
You don't understand. I'm drinking this on the daily, sometimes multiple.
Root beer feels like a thing you can only have like once a year.
That's crazy.
Like I feel like root beer is like
I'm
you're at
with
the
her.
fair or
With her
something.
on
How about this?
Or
My favorite
like
candy? Root beer jelly beans.
Like a diner or something, you get a root beer, but I don't think root beer is something that like is consumed.
It's a
on
kid
daily.
thing, right, Lucy?
Yeah, it feels
Root
like
beer
a
float.
Like root beer, I like associate it with a float, so it feels like a special occasion. But I don't like it, so I'm not going to have it on any
Uncultured
occasion. But
swine.
it doesn't feel like a daily thing.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Does root beer have anything to do with whether you're cultured or not? And also, I think you've got this wrong, Jeremy, because I think I could say this as an absolute without any diluters. None of the no sugar stuff tastes as good as the stuff with sugar. Like none of it. Like
Now, when's the last time you've
Dan.
had a zero sugar?
I think that's
You're
false.
crazy. Coke Zero is just as delicious.
No,
It's just a
you're
different
simply-
type of
you're
flavor.
You just
simply
like it. You're right.
wrong.
Exactly. You just said it. It's a different flavor
No, but
that you enjoy.
it's just as sweet. It's delicious. And if you try a root beer and a root beer with zero sugar,
If
you're
it was
missing
their
out.
best, they would come out the gate with the
No,
zero
this is a
sugar.
new- this is a
Anytime
new
food
age in
or
America.
a drink is invented, the OG flavor is always the best. That's why I only eat the original.
That's like saying a
Pop-Tart.
rotary phone is
the
better than a
original
cell phone.
Pop-Tart with no icing, none of that BS, and it's just the strawberry flavor. That's the only Pop-Tart I eat. That's the best one.
We're supposed to
the
listen to this
double
guy?
down. I'm Zaz and I once again in the same garage with our cars. I don't know what the Dr. Pepper is a flavor. Cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper. What the hell are we doing? I mean, I thought you were already a made-up flavor, Dr. Pepper.
I don't believe that Jeremy has had a take that is more obviously wrong than stuff without sugar tastes just as good as stuff with sugar.
No, I think Jeremy's right in this case. I'll give you a quick example. Diet Coke,
Yes.
much better than Coke.
No.
That's so true.
Unequivocally.
Diet Coke is
I know
way
these
better
are
than
popular
Coke.
things.
Thank you.
We are the same. But what I will say is Diet Coke and Coke don't taste the same. They taste different. It's
Very
a
different.
different flavor. My issue is, I get it. We want to be healthier as a society. I think that's awesome. But quit trying to tell me it tastes as good. Like, just say it's a little bit grosser. Say, hey, this is sugar-free. It's not going to taste as good. Don't tell me, oh, it's exactly
Don't bring
the
it to
same.
me.
It's not. It is not the same. But Diet Coke is significantly better than Coke. But
Thank
it's
you.
a totally different flavor than regular
No,
Coke.
I can understand if you arrive at the opinion that you love the flavor of Diet Coke. But
More than anything in the whole world.
The only way that you can arrive at that opinion is if you haven't tasted Coke.
No,
Like-
I
I've
switched.
tasted both.
I switched. I was a Coke person, and then one day I woke up and said, I think a Diet Coke sounds nice.
Yes.
And my life has literally never been the same.
Okay.
I reach for that fridge cigarette every day.
Chris Cody just whispered to me, agree to disagree, and I will not. I will not agree to disagree.
I hate agreeing to disagree.
It doesn't seem like we're going to get anywhere here with
but
this.
it just seems like I'm arguing the most obvious thing. The people who invented Diet Coke would not argue that Diet Coke tastes better than Coke. And nobody listening to this who craves or likes sugar is going to tell you that sugarless things taste as good. Sugarless gum is a failure. Anything that is less
Preach,
sugar
Dan.
is less, it tastes less sweet. And Diet Coke, if you've had Coke, tastes like a diluted, muddied version of Coke where I'm reminded with the aftertaste. Oh, this is a pale facsimile that I'm having only because it's ostensibly healthier.
You're dancing for the man when you start talking about Diet Coke being better than sugared Coke. What the hell is this conversation?
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Are you dancing for the man if you think that Diet Coke is better tasting than Coke? Lucy's disgusted with us right now.
Dan, when you refer to the people who invented Diet Coke, you need to call them by their proper name, which are heroes. They have changed my life. I'm not saying that Diet Coke is better than Coke, but I don't think it's a substitute for Coke. No. I think Coke Zero is a substitute for Coke.
That's right.
But Diet Coke and regular Coke have very different flavors. And do not even get me started when I go to a restaurant and I say, hey, I'll have a Diet Coke. And this is Diet Pepsi, okay?
Yes.
No, bring me a water.
Shampoo is soap, and soap is shampoo. And the shampoo maker said, look, all the dupes of society are buying this liquid soap and rubbing it in their hair. Maybe we can double down on it and create another thing for them to rub into their hair, and we'll call it conditioner. And now we have conditioner. And everybody caught on after a decade or three that conditioner is unnecessary. And then all the conditioner makers said, we have warehouses overflowing with this crap. What are we going to do with it? We can't pawn it off on the dupes anymore. Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll make shampoo and conditioner combo in the same container, so you have no choice in the matter. And now everybody just keeps rubbing the shampoo and conditioner into their hair, never even considering that this is all the man having his way with you once again. Fat and double fat.
He really looked like a Muppet there.
I liked after the show yesterday, I saw people trying to create a physical Muppet character of Dave Damashek. I need to attack some of these things one at a time here, okay? Because the root beer conversation is an interesting one. You either there are two kinds of people in the world. People who like the flavor of root beer, love the flavor of root beer, and people who will not have root beer. I don't have once a year root beer. You either like that flavor or you don't like that flavor. But I legitimately have not heard it argued, okay? Because I know that Chris Cody has a problem with his dad. His dad historically either has beer or Diet Coke for as long as I've known him.
Or coffee.
Doesn't drink water. It's just beer or Diet Coke. Will not consume water.
He's gone more towards coffee and beer. He's eliminated the Diet Cokes a little, but it's those three: coffee, Diet Coke, and beer.
I've literally never heard anyone make the argument that sugar-free stuff in any realm tastes even like stuff with sugar. Never mind liking it better. I thought it was as close as you could come to consensus that people would tell you that if something is sugarless, the reason you're doing that is not because it tastes better, it's because you're trying to be healthier. It's never because it tastes better.
No, first of all, nobody who ever has known me well has accused me of trying to be healthier. So that's not it.
I tell him to drink more water, and he says there's water in coffee.
And in beer. Beer is mostly water. That's
means
why
it
I
when he
drink a
says
lot
that.
of it. I got to get my water. No, Diet Coke tastes better. You know, when I taste a regular Coke, which I do occasionally if I have to, regular Coke tastes thick. It's syrupy. It leaves an aftertaste. It's just awful. I don't care about the calories. I'll drink a can full of 110 calories. I don't like the flavor and the thickness and the sweetness. Sugar is overrated. If I drink a coffee, I like it very lightly sweetened. If you put 4 or 5 sugars in this coffee, I can't drink it. I'll pour it right out because it's too sweet. Too sweet is better than not sweet enough. Take it to the bank.
I don't think I've ever had Diet Coke before.
Oh my God, you're missing.
Like
out,
I don't
man.
drink soda, so I don't think
To
I've
me,
ever
it's
had.
to me
Diet
it tastes
Coke.
like flat Coca-Cola.
No.
No. You're crazy.
It's like a totally separate flavor. Have you guys tried like the healthy sodas, like the Ollie Pops and Poppies?
No.
They're very popular with like the Gen Z girlies.
Yeah, weird name.
Some of them are
They're
really
good.
good and they have a ton of fiber in them. Some of them taste like the worst thing I've ever had in my entire life. Like they taste like cough medicine, but it's actually a pretty good alternative.
Fiber. Who wants
Yeah,
fiber
like-
in their drink?
Yeah, there's a lot of fiber in some of these drinks. So, yeah, they help you go to the bathroom if you need it. You're welcome, folks.
All I'm saying about the root beer zero sugar is of the zero sugar sodas, it's the one that tastes the closest to the original.
I'll hear you
so
on
look,
that.
Coke Zero trying to be a replacement for Coke is different than Diet Coke. Diet Coke, its own flavor. Coke Zero, an alternative flavor for your Coke when you're trying to be healthier, like Dan has said. But it's not quite the same flavor. With root beer,
You're fighting
when
this root
you
beer
go
fight.
root beer
He is
zero
fighting
sugar,
this root beer
it is
fight.
the closest you get to root beer. And I'm
We
saying
got
this
it.
as a root beer connoisseur.
Can we make you look up something? I have no idea what A&W stands for.
It's like a name.
Yeah, it's got to stand for something, right?
It has to.
Initials?
They have A&W restaurants.
Yeah, what does
Which I didn't
A&W
know.
stand for?
And it's always an ampersand. It's never the word and.
We all
Alan
know
and Wright.
Arby's is RB, right? Roast beef.
What?
Really?
Shut up. Are you
just blew
are
my
you
mind.
fibbing?
What?
Are you telling the truth?
Yeah, no, it's
I
true.
am, and also the baseball glove on the Brewers hat is an M and a B. Milwaukee.
Everyone
Brewer.
knows
That one I knew.
Not everybody knows that.
Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show. Did you know that RB's was the initials for roast beef? Because I did not know that. And is A&W the most popular of the root beers? Is that the thing that you associate?
It's the Cadillac.
Yeah, they own the name.
It's
root beer.
A&W, but there's also Barks and there's Mug. Now, to me, Barks and A&W, they stand above Mug for sure. But you really, it kind of depends on which place you go. Honestly, Barks ends up there more often because I believe it's a subsidiary of the Coca-Cola products, which is why you end up getting Barks in restaurants more often. I'm not sure where A&W stands.
I have the answer right here. I just looked up. A&W stands for its founders Roy Allen and Frank Wright. 1922.
Thank you. Put it on the poll, please, as well, at LeBatard Show. Is conditioner a grift that dupes idiots? Brought to you by Big Soap.
No, conditioner serves a purpose.
So smooth after.
Shampoo is to clean, and you can do different types of shampoo. You can do clarifying or dandruff or like whatever you're looking for your hair. Conditioner is to help put the moisture back in because you've just washed all the oil out of your hair. Conditioner is how I have this beautiful thick hair.
Dude,
It's all a scam. Most of what Dave said was absolutely correct, and I would add one more layer to
national
that.
champion, Dave.
I would add one more layer to that, which is don't call soap body wash. It's soap. I don't care if it's in a container and I'm squirting it. It's soap. It's not body wash. That's a made-up phrase that just means soap, and it's supposed to sound fancier and more upscale than soap. Dupes, like you said.
Liquid
What
soap.
about shower gel? How do you feel about that?
It's the same. It's the same scam. Soap. You have a bar of soap, you put it under your armpit, you move on. That's it. It's
Beep,
soap.
beep, make room in the garage, Zaz. We got a third car pulling in.
Thank you. Let's go.
Did you just say B soap? Soap, B soap?
Be soap. It's one of the classic. It's perfect. Soap is soap. Be you.
I'm more focused on the put it under your armpits and move on. Is that all we're doing with the bar of soap?
Codys famously do not wash their legs. Chris Cody.
What?
Yeah, he takes
That's
a bath in the pool.
disgusting.
That's this guy.
You know,
That's really gross.
Greg Cody washes his
washes
hair
their legs?
in the pool. That's why he looks
Every
like Steve
other
Bannon.
person. Every other person.
No, I don't only wash under my armpits.
You know the soap falls down and goes over your legs,
Yes,
guys.
thank you. When's the last time you had dirty knee? What are you bent on your knees in the garden doing work? I mean, nobody has dirt on their knees. Unless you're bending over, doing labor in the garden.
Playing
My
soccer,
knee-
your
my-
granddaughter.
Yeah,
dirty
but
knees.
there you go. You wash the knees. But if the knees don't wash using, I look at my legs. If my
The
legs
knees
dirty,
don't
I
wash
it.
using.
He
No,
just screwed up. He's fine.
Thank you. If I look at my leg and it's dirty, I wash it. If there's no visible dirt, it's unnecessary to wash your leg.
Chris Cody is famously bad at hygiene. He learned it from his father. Mina Kime's going to join us here in a little bit. Mike Ryan has been doing this bit of real podcast or fake podcast, and I have seen that on Netflix there is a new podcast with Michael Irvin, and he has called it White House, which is, to me, a stunning name for his podcast, given that the White House famously was a house that the champion Dallas Cowboys had where they would have parties and, affairs with people who weren't their wives. They called the secret house that was conducted and run by Michael Irvin the White House. I reported that many years ago in the 23rd paragraph of a Super Bowl column. I didn't report that the Tampa Bay Bucks also had one called the Bat Cave. I am surprised, though, that Michael Irvin is, for all the names that he could have chosen for his podcast, he's chosen White House as the name for his podcast.
You know who I thought of immediately? Jeff Pearlman. Because Netflix is just stealing his IP.
That happens a good amount to Jeff Pearlman.
And sure enough, I went right to his IG, and there was just, with no caption, a screen cap of the press release.
Speaking of the White House, we've got the talk of Masvidal and Conor McGregor fighting on the White House lawn. How did you guys feel about, as Panther fans, how do you guys feel about the lovable Kachuk as he makes his trip to the White House, cozying up to Trump, the orange grifting felonious turd? How do you feel about that? Like, as Panther fans, is it disappointing to you to see, or are you now numb to it?
I don't have a problem separating the two. To me, it was Matthew Tkachuk enjoying the honor of being at the White House. Like, I don't know.
You can do that without overpraising.
Yeah, he did. You're right.
He did overpraise him this year,
You're
which
right.
is what I kind of told myself last year to pacify myself during that, which is like, he didn't say much, but Matty is genuinely very proud to be an American and embraces the role
Which is okay.
of USA hockey. But yeah, I'm bummed. And, it's kind of funny that the story arc of stick to sports, keep politics out of sports, everything that I love, this guy's unavoidable. I'm a Chelsea fan. He's on the stage celebrating with my team during the Club World Cup. I think whatever side of the aisle you're on, you don't want this guy showing up to your games because it makes going into the game a huge pain in the ass. I was like, in the national title game, you got to ruin this for me too? And so, yeah, I hate it. And this guy, he is very good at sticking himself in sporting events. He had a genius move at the Daytona 500 for his branding. That all works out. But all the sports that I like, he is always injecting himself into it. And it's funny how that doesn't matter when it's your guy injecting
Myopic
himself.
millionaire.
I thought it was funny that the day after appearing with Trump at the White House, the Panthers lost 9-1.
That was funny to you?
I just got a smile out of that. But I will say that I don't think most fans care. I think 55% of Panthers fans sort of cringed at that, and then the next day they're cheering for their team. Nobody cares.
Yeah, I think you also have to acknowledge too the Florida Panthers as an organization, ownership, like they're
That's
very,
right.
Very
super.
very into. I mean, they're very. I don't know. I would necessarily say pro-Trump, but this country, the United States, is a very big
Right. Wasn't
deal
Vinny
to that
Viola
ownership.
under consideration for a cabinet position that he had to withdraw
I think so.
from?
He's a West Point guy.
Yeah, he's a West Point guy, and in terms of
It's a
like
big
that
deal.
honor, that comes from the very top,
big deal.
and it trickles on down to the rest of the team.
I'm not kidding about the myopic millionaire thing. These are 25-year-olds who have the world by the tail. They're not engaged with deep diving in politics. They're getting something out of that. That's the end of the story. The larger concern is that top 5 NHL forward all time Wayne Gretzky has turned his back on his homeland to support what goes on down here in Florida
That's a
and
much
Puck
bigger
and
deal.
otherwise.
Yeah.
If you're a 25-year-old myopic millionaire, you're on the internet. You know what's happening. Like, you could see why right now going out of your way to be extra proud to be an
know that
American
you're right
is a
about
thing.
that.
Quote, the 2 cups was pretty good, but that walk with you might have trumped it all. Nothing beats this. I'm so proud to be an American and so proud to be here with you. Nah.
I don't know that you're right about that.
So, Matthew Tkachuk doesn't have the internet. The guy who's like floating out stuff about going to the
I
national
think we
championship
are.
and being fun and
I
playing
think we're
media.
underestimating the things that some of these guys pay attention to and the bubble that they live in.
Look, I get it, but right now it's pretty tough to avoid what's been happening over the last couple
What
of
they're
weeks.
reacting to, though,
Like, come on.
Cachet, is the taxes. I mean, really, these are super duper rich people who are looking at selfishly at their bottom line and not much beyond anything else.
Super duper rich white people in particular.
She's an NFL analyst on ESPN, the host of the Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny, which I strongly recommend to all of you. I can tell from simply the look on her face. She does not want to in on this conversation. So let's talk about the Bills press conference that just got done and the television show, The Traitors. Have you guys watched The Traitors at all? Do you guys know what that show is? Because she occasionally just gets obsessed with some reality competitions, and she's obsessed with this one.
So I know her and David Dennis Jr. are like all over this show. I don't know about it, but like I'm interested because I know they've been talking about it.
I thought it was a show about Jimmy Butler leaving the Heat last year. I guess I was wrong.
You will like this detail, Dan, because David and I do a podcast. It's a TV podcast called Viewer Discretion. Literally, why I'm here is to promote my own work and to hang out with you guys. But the premise of the show, The Traitors, is kind of like Mafia, right? Where they're trying to suss out who the bad guys are. There are secret killers amongst them. And so the cast, which is mostly comprised of a group called the Faithfuls, gets the opportunity pretty much every week to vote out someone they think is a traitor. This is not a spoiler. Enough time has passed. But if you're watching it, whatever. Dan, Michael Rappaport was so despised by everybody on this show that they voted him out even though nobody actually thought he was a traitor, purely because they didn't want to hang out with him anymore. They burned a vote completely because he was so unlikable.
He's awful. Like, Rappaport is the worst, and that is wildly unsurprising.
Mina, what was your reaction to the way he was eating, like with the plate in his mouth?
My reaction to that, and maybe this is from being on television for too long now, is the producers must hate him as much as everybody on the show to include like 10 scenes of him eating like I have a 2-year-old who eats with more decorum than that.
The lip of the plate is in his mouth.
Disgusting.
So funny. You're an adult.
In our group of people here, who do you think would do best here on The Traitors?
Oh, definitely not Mike Ryan. That's easy no. I can explain my thinking there. Dan, no. I think Greg would do the best.
So who are the traitors and who are the faithful among our group here?
Well, I feel like if Chris Cody was a traitor, I would know within 2 seconds. Zaz has strong, faithful, loud, faithful, accusing loud traitors vibes.
Loyalty is a big trait of mine, all right?
Dan, faithful who does too much and gets eliminated early. Lucy, absolute traitor.
Yes. I'm a phenomenal liar.
Is that a good thing, being a traitor? I got to watch this show. You've piqued my interest.
Well, you don't get to they choose who's the traitor. Alan Cummings goes around and taps people, who, by the way, is unbelievable on this show. Probably the best hosting performance I've ever seen by anyone.
I don't really know the rules or really anything about this game, but I'm offended you don't think I'm good at it.
You're not a good liar.
We saw how Miami did earlier this week.
What did you think, Mina, of this Bills press conference where they're saying McDermott's fired because of the Denver loss? The owner is saying is ripping Keon Coleman, which I understand, but probably unnecessary. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was an absolute disaster. I did this video where I was ranking head coaching jobs before the Bills job opened, and I had Baltimore number one for obvious reasons. And people said, well, now that the Bills job's open, would you put it number one? Because Josh Allen. No! This is Exhibit A. Like, you want to work for the ownership who not just backed the bus over Sean McDermott, also threw one of his own players under the bus in Keon Coleman. I thought it was one of the weirdest press conferences I've ever seen, quite frankly. Like, zero reason for him to jump in there, do the thing that most owners do, and leak it to a reporter as an anonymous source. Like, what? Like, that was so crazy. And also, I'm not sure true, right? Like, so we're really absolving the GM of your top draft pick that year of any responsibility, setting aside the numerous other bad draft picks that he's made and bad free agency signings. So I thought it was really in poor taste, honestly. And it shows why they don't let owners talk that much, to be frank.
Here is Bills owner Terry Pagula talking about failed first-round pick wide receiver Keon Coleman.
Yeah, can I interrupt? I'll address the Keon situation. The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon. I'm not saying Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff, who felt strongly about the player. And, he's taken, for some reason, heat over it and not saying a word about it. But I'm here to tell you the true story.
Can I interrupt here, Mina? Can I interrupt? He's protecting the GM that he's promoted, right?
And at the expense of, not just Sean McDermott, Keon Coleman, who last I checked is still on the team, but also the coaching staff. I mean, there's a possibility they promote Joe Brady or at minimum keep him. Like, I literally everybody in the building except for Brandon Beane feels like is being thrown under the bus. I do not understand any logic behind saying that in public. But I didn't understand the firing to begin with, Dan. I thought they should have kept McDermott, and at minimum, they should have, if they were going to get rid of him, I thought really evaluate the GM, certainly not promote him, because when I was watching the Bills this weekend, I thought the biggest issue, other than Allen's performance, was the construction of the roster, not the coaching. And he gets a promotion out of this. The guy who, by the way, last summer, you guys remember this, had one of the all-time sports radio moments when he got visibly angry at the idea that the receiver group that he had assembled wasn't enough.
How quickly is Keon Coleman's agent on the phone with the team now?
I mean, it's still a good spot for him is the thing, right? I think the question is going to be who they bring in as a coach or who ends up getting that job. But I would be pretty upset if I was him, and validly so.
Mina, we haven't talked about it on the show. The San Francisco 49ers for seasons now have been riddled with injuries, and there was a social media post about their training facility being next to a power plant and how that is actually affecting these players' bodies. Now, it was interesting because what's happened to them has been super random. Do you put any stock into this whatsoever?
It's not my expertise. I will say that I have looked into that theory. I have read the articles about it. I I cannot. The thing about the injuries that's so crazy is they're on both, and why I think people are even like doing the conspiracy theories, both sides of the ball, contact and non-contact, in different locations. Like there's no. It's not like you can point to and say, well, Kyle Shanahan's offense exposes. Nope, it's defense too. Well, it's on these fields. Nope, it's on every field. I don't know, man. I maybe like. This is the revenge on the tech industry or something karmically, because I cannot, which is not to say that all Niners fans are complicit there, but like I just cannot understand what's going on in San Francisco. It's inexplicable.
Isn't it just football? Football hurts. People get injured.
But why does it happen to them more than anybody else? And there was we should find the entire thread, but the argument was long-term exposure to the forces that emanate from a power plant do wear your body down, make you more brittle, and make you more susceptible to getting injured. I am not a doctor, but it was interesting to see some outside-the-box thinking to explain something that has been one of the NFL's great mysteries, which is why are the Niners always having to dig themselves out of these injury holes?
The thing that I have speculated on, Mike, is that the Niners play a lot of football because they're so good every year. They're so well coached. They make these deep playoff runs. They're not the only team. It's not like they played more football than like the Kansas City Chiefs, who, by the way, had their own spate of injuries, right? But I do think like playing more football tends to lead to more injuries. So if I had to come up with an explanation, it doesn't explain all of it because there's, like I said, there's other teams that have played a lot of football that haven't experienced the same degree of it. But I think it's bad luck coupled with the fact that this is a team that has been in the postseason so many times.
You say that, but the Eagles are the least injured team in the sport.
Well, like I was saying, there's teams that have gotten luckier. I don't
Well,
know.
I just
will
think
say the Eagles' offensive line got really hurt this year, and I think that was a big factor.
I just think it's random, right? And we can go
random.
power plants and everything else, but I don't think anybody can prevent injuries, and I'm not sure that there's any reason that there would be more caused, especially given how strict the union is now about how teams practice, right?
Yeah, my thing is just that they played a lot of games. It's not about practices. But like you said, the Eagles have also played a lot of games. There's other teams that have played a lot of games. They're not the only team that has. But if I had to just isolate one thing that is a little bit different about this team from a lot of other teams, it's that.
Can we talk about another NFC West team, the one that Mina Kimes roots for, that has been more or less irrelevant in January and February since Malcolm Butler a number of years ago? The biggest game in Hawks lore since that night. How say you, Mina Kimes? Are you excited over your skis?
What is how say you?
Yeah. Hey, Dave.
Mina Kimes.
Dave, you're the only person who I've ever heard say "How say you" in casual conversation.
National champion, Dave.
If I didn't see you, I would have known it was you. I'm very excited. I still cautious, still a little bit apprehensive, but I think this defense is so good, and I believe in it so much, and I think it's the single best unit left in the playoffs on any of the four teams, and that is giving me a lot of confidence.
Who's better, Seattle or the Rams?
I think Seattle's better, to be honest.
And it's based on what, given the two games this year? In the first one, Seattle has a 4 turnover disadvantage, is still kicking for the win at the end, and the last one was just a fluke that Seattle won.
Well, I don't think that's exactly true that it was a fluke. I think, because I was just coming back, I just watched it yesterday to preview the game. I think that the Rams offense is really good, and I think it's capable of high highs, but we're coming off of a bad Matthew Stafford performance, to be, I think the pass protection's showing some issues. And I think the Seahawks defense, the third time around, I like the idea of them from a scheme perspective, especially, again, what we've seen from some of the vulnerabilities shown by the Rams offense in the last couple of rounds. And then on the other side of the ball, I think the first time these teams played, Sam Darnold, absolute meltdown, no question about that. And then he struggled for a few weeks. But since then, and you saw this the last time these teams played in Week 16, Seattle has become better and better at running the football. This was a huge weakness of theirs for much of the season. This was a big piece of skepticism I had. And I think you've seen that it has the ability to settle Darnold. I think you saw that in the last round, right? Darnold barely had to do anything, but he played calmly. And the Seahawks were kind of like the NFC Texans, and I think that was like a real study in contrast because both defenses were awesome, but on one side, the offense completely melted down. On the other, it was like a calm, patient performance, and that gave me, I think, a pretty higher degree of confidence going forward.
Mina, is it surprising how much attention Mike McDaniel's gotten?
No. Well, you mean getting the Chargers job and such? Or?
Well, and I mean, he certainly has head coaching opportunities as well.
I think some of it has to do with like supply and demand. So right now I feel that there's a lot of really great defensive coaches. There are very few good offensive ones. This is not like last year with Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen, right? Like, and so when you're looking across the league and you're like, okay, well, everybody wants a great play caller, ideally as a head coach. It's not surprising that Mike McDaniel, who I think everybody agrees is still a great play caller, who was hampered by the quarterback, had a lot of options. And I think like the Chargers job is a dream for him and for the Chargers. So not surprising to me. It might have been surprising in a different market, but this is one that was very defense focused.
Mina, speaking of McDaniel, the Dolphins tend to live under the radar nationally, but they've made some news turning themselves into Green Bay South. What do you think of them hiring Jeff Hafley? How's that?
Yeah. So I'm always like hesitant to give a strong take about a head coach hire, to be honest, because I think it's a lot harder to project versus like a head coach firing. I will have strong opinions about, because you see guys all the time and they end up being great or bad, and it comes as a complete surprise. Other than Urban Meyer, we all knew that was gonna be horrible, right? And Hafley, I think like for year one in Green Bay, very impressive improvement. Year two, I thought things kind of fell apart without Micah Parsons. So it's hard for me to know exactly how good he's going to be. People speak really highly of him, people I trust. But I will say this. I look around the league and I see so many situations where the coach was fired and the GM, for some reason, the reason is they sit in the owner's box and they talk to the owners, kept their jobs. Many cases around the league. If I'm a Dolphins fan, I love the fact that we cleaned house, starting anew, and we've got the GM and the head coach not only coming from the same place, but on the same timeline. This is a rebuild. No Dolphins fan thinks they're going to compete next year. Fine. You don't have a GM making dumb panic moves to save his job because everybody knows this is a rebuild. And so I think that would be my most optimistic take about Miami, is that they ripped the Band-Aid off and they're starting over with both at the same time.
Where are you on CJ Stroud?
Oh, buddy. That was rough. Okay. I think the thing I'll say is, going back and watching that game, the thing that struck me was not just Stroud, and he was very bad in it, right? Not just the interception, the turnovers, but also he was missing throws. The whole offense was a disaster in that game. The offensive line was a disaster. There was no run game. The receivers were dropping passes. And I think what you saw from him is something you have seen from him at other points, certainly in the last round as well, which is he is making a bad situation worse. And I think that is something he has to fix. As to whether he can do it, I think the optimistic case would be the situation can't be worse than what it was in that game. He's very young still. I know we think of him as being, he's still pretty young. He's like 24. Now, that would still make me nervous about giving him a big extension, but I'm not selling it off altogether if I'm Houston. And that's going to be the hard line that they've got to walk, right? Like, how do you give him more time and leeway without, crippling yourself financially? And they're going to have to figure that out.
I had the opinion watching that game when I heard Swagoo say that, you got to think about benching him for Davis Mills. I'm like, you cannot do that to that quarterback unless you're moving off of him. Like, if you're going to take him out in that spot, you've got to be telling everybody CJ Stroud is no longer our quarterback. What are your thoughts halfway through that game? So he's got the 4 or 5 fumbles in the first game of the playoffs. No one's ever had this incompetent a playoff run where you have that many turnovers that way in game 1 and game 2. What were your thoughts? That game could have still been won by that defense, given how they were strangling the Patriots. You would have made a quarterback change, yes or no?
I probably would not have done it, to be honest, because I think while it would have been one thing if everything around CJ Stroud was good and he was bad, but everything around him was awful, and I'm not of the belief that putting in a quarterback who I don't think is, a great quarterback, to be blunt, is going to be that much better than what we saw. It's tough, though. Like, the thing I'll say about him, too, is in the previous round, it was a weird one, Dan, because he turned the ball over, but outside of the fumbles in the first round, he actually made a lot of really good throws. So we come out of that game, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, he turned the ball over, he had some boneheaded moments, but he was at least making plays. He threw some beautiful, and then this game, it was like both the bad decisions and the misses. So it's tough. Obviously they'll give him at least the option. I wouldn't be surprised if they extend him, and people are very upset about it, though, to be honest.
Let's put up that photo of William Shatner here and get Mina's opinion on this in the car. What are your thoughts, Mina, on William Shatner, 94 years old, driving an automobile while eating cereal? I remember my grandma in her late 80s calling me all excited. She's like, I got my license renewed. I got my license renewed by mail. I didn't even have to go into the DMV. And I'm like, Grandma, they don't want you driving to the DMV to get your license. They don't want you in a car. Shatner at 94 eating cereal at a stoplight. Your thoughts?
You know what's so crazy about this photo to me, which I've seen? Not that he's eating cereal, not even that he's eating it with a spoon and a bowl, but there appears to be milk in there.
Yes.
That's what's crazy, right? Because
Yes.
who among us has not carried around a little box of dry cereal and reached in from time to time as a road snack?
Of course.
But to do it with milk is psychotic behavior.
Also psychotic is both Lucy and Jeremy and actually Cody as well arguing that Diet Coke and Diet Root Beer are just as good and sometimes better
You're butchering that. That's not what I said. That's literally not even what I said at all.
What'd you say? What's the take?
I said that Diet Coke is not a substitute for Coke, but it is better than Coke. And Dan is trying to say that I'm saying that stuff that has less sugar tastes better than stuff with sugar, and that's just straight up not true.
And I
that's
said
a lie.
that zero
That's
sugar
propaganda.
root beer is the closest to a replacement for the original root beer, and that like Coke Zero does not taste as much like Coke as root beer zero sugar tastes like root beer.
How say you?
I haven't had Coke or Diet Coke in maybe 20 years.
Oh, you're one of those. All right.
Since High School Musical came out.
Too good for Diet
The
Coke.
best of times.
Don't judge us. You're judging us.
I'm not judging you. I'm just not trying to speak on something that I don't like. If I feel like if I had a single sip of Coke right now,
let's
I
do
would
this.
spin out.
How about the theory uttered by Dave Damashek that conditioner is a grift meant to dupe people who should just have soap, that you don't need anything other than shampoo, you don't need conditioner?
Well, on this, I am a subject matter expert. And get at me, companies. And my hair looks significantly worse when I don't use conditioner. Dave, this might be a skill issue for you, in that like you're not getting the most out of it. Although maybe it's different for men, and I don't know. But I if you have long hair and a lot of it like I do, you absolutely need conditioner because otherwise your hair just kind of limp and lays there.
Oh, if I had the head of hair I had when I was 22, now I would be a U.S. Senator.
All right, just drop a pic. Let's see it. And that voice, come on.
You got pretty good hair. What's wrong with your hair right now?
Oh, I'm doing all right, Dan. I'm not complaining given my age. You know what, though? Kimes and I disagree on a number of issues. The most significant one that I know she's now here to say publicly I have been right about all along. QB wins in the postseason matter. Why is Sean McDermott out? Why is Mike Tomlin out? Obviously, our reaction to C.J. Stroud and whether or not the Texans should go forward with him is owed to the last two games we saw in
what
the
are you talking about?
postseason.
C.J. Stroud is a perfect case study for why QB wins are stupid. He won in the first round. We were literally just talking about how he didn't play well, but he won. But by your metric, it was a great performance.
That's a
because he won a playoff
60-minute
game.
sample overall. Why is Sam Darnold diminished by football Americans broadly? Because he doesn't take care of business when the games matter most. Now, last week, and even more so this week, he has a chance to wash that stink off with soap, not conditioner.
So, Sam Darnold, he's better than Josh Allen, right? Because QB wins.
I mean, you can
QB
you can use the dummy guy voice to try to make your point.
QB wins.
Obviously, it's not that extreme. Nobody thinks Trent Dilfer is better than Dan
put that
Marino.
one out there.
Here's a good one though.
I don't know why I did that with my hands.
Here's a good one, Kimes. Here's the question for you that proves the point. Whose career would you rather have had, Dan Marino's or Eli Manning's?
We're not talking about whose career you'd rather have.
QB
That's not our
wins
job
are
as
the
analysts and
defining aspect
opinionators.
of a career.
What is this? Is that?
It's a puppet.
That's the Muppet.
It's the Damachek puppet.
National champion and ruggedly handsome Muppet Dave.
Is that a real puppet?
I like
or?
the orange one better.
We're trying to make one. We're trying to make a
All right, get that
Damashek
slap out of
puppet
you.
that goes.
Come
Are you guys done with the argument? I was hoping you'd do it for the rest of the segment. Is that it? You're done arguing?
There is no argument. There is no argument. It's just people screaming, QB wins.
Your Twitter bio says QB wins are not a stat.
There was no answer though to the question whose career.
I literally
would you
gave you
prefer
an
to
answer
have?
to the question, which is this playoffs is a great illustration of how stupid it is.
She
We've
got
literally
your
just had an
ass.
entire
So, Marino.
conversation about a guy who won a playoff game despite playing
the
poorly.
Texans may not ultimately move forward with the franchise, the apparent franchise quarterback, because of his performance in these playoffs.
His performance, not because they lost. If he had been awesome in that game and they had still lost, do you think we'd even be having this conversation?
Absolutely. We would be having the Blake Bortles is the detriment
no,
of
that's
the
not true.
Jacksonville
Thomas,
Jaguars.
Hey, be quiet. Everybody else.
Star.
If CJ Stroud had been awesome in that game and they had lost and they had gone toe-to-toe with Drake May, Dan, would you have asked me, what are the Texans going to do about CJ Stroud?
Not in that voice. I don't know why. I don't know why you gave me that.
How
Opie
pumped
voice.
is Dan to ask for more fighting and get it?
You know who always showed up in big games, Lucy?
Troy Bolton.
That's right.
Happy anniversary, High School Musical. We've been dying to talk about it all day.
Yeah, I noticed twice. I'm not going to let you. Stidham, your thoughts?
I just watched both of his preseason games. I've been waiting all morning for someone to ask me about Jarrett Stidham.
Got to get your head in the game.
First of all, Jarrett Stidham, by Dave's logic, he's 2-0, baby, this year. So that he must be the best quarterback in the NFL, right? He won those 2 games against the San Francisco and Arizona Cardinals in the preseason. QB wins. Okay, my thoughts are he did look good in those games. I thought his preseason caveats, all of that. I thought he looked accurate. He threw some balls downfield, particularly in the Arizona game. I thought he made some legitimately impressive throws and flashed some athleticism. So this is not like a nightmare backup quarterback situation by any means. That said, I do think the Patriots defense in particular, based on what we've seen over the last few weeks, is going to throw a lot of really confusing pressures and coverages at him. So it's going to be very challenging for him. And obviously I'm picking New England here, but he is capable of functional quarterback play.
He's soaring and he's flying.
Yeah, if the Broncos win, this could be the start of something new.
Top to the top.
Those High School Musical references, because I'm going to have to.
Yes, of course. The booty
Dave on
catch.
that one
The booty catch. Can you?
Bob Greasy completed or attempted 4 more passes than I did in some playoff games and is in the Hall of Fame because his team won Lombardies. The impact of winning in the playoffs is everything. It is the perception. You're talking about the actual performance, Mina Kimes. I'm talking about the way we react, not just the media. I'm talking about human beings. Who are the enduring legends of the sport? The people who win it. That's how recorded history works.
Keisha Booty, I thought was excellent in the last round. And it's so funny because Dominique and I were trying to comp for him, and every comp I came up for him and the way he's playing right now was a guy who was like 6'4" and up, and he's 5'11", which I think is what's really remarkable about the fact that he's making these contested catches, you know, deep against like man cover. He's really, I think, proven to be a reliable downfield target for Drake May. And you go up against defense that loves to play man coverage in Denver. I think his ability to get those one-on-ones, like, can't you just see it now? It's the 4th quarter. Somehow they get him on Riley Moss, poor Riley Moss, pass interference in a key moment. He reels it in anyways. I've been so impressed by him.
Mina, Mike Vrabel is in a position.
Danny White did one of the hardest things a person can do, which is take over for a legend. Only Mr. Furley did it better, perhaps for Mr. Roper. In 1980, he and Drew Pearson hook up to vanquish the Atlanta Falcons and fall to the Philadelphia Eagles, who wind up in the Super Bowl. In 81, he only loses because of the catch to Dwight Clark and Joe Montana. He could have gone to the Super Bowl where he would have beaten the Cincinnati Bengals. And in 82, he gets hurt in RFK, and they lose with Gary Hogeboom under center to Joe Theismann in Washington. He would have been a Hall of Famer if he gets to one of those Super Bowls and wins it. Instead, he's an afterthought. Don't tell me QB wins don't matter.
This is just like when Gabriella took over for Sharpay in the Spring Musicale.
Were you asking me something about Mike Vrabel? I didn't catch the end of that.
I was, yes.
You finished this question.
Mike Vrabel, the job.
I had some interference.
The job that he's done with so much rookie play is crazy. I saw the stat this weekend. The Titans, the Browns, and the Jets, all terrible teams, are the only ones who have had as many rookies make an impact. Yeah. But those are all bad teams.
Yeah, I think I find so impressive and important too, it's the combination of like the rookies and the young players, but I also think a lot of the veterans New England brought in this offseason have really paid off and made an impact, right? In this last game defensively, Milton Williams, who was their big signing, was the big signing, took over the game at various points. Carlton Davis was excellent as well. And then offensively, Stephon Diggs. I mean, that was a signing that a lot of people questioned, 32 years old or 31 or something, coming off the ACL, and he's been pivotal. So it feels like a roster that's really well. I'm not just saying that Mike Vrabel himself has done a great job, but I also think when I watch the Patriots roster, to me, is really shining. You see how well put together it is.
The Brandon Cooks catch, non-catch.
Almost no one under the age of 40 could tell you anything about Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. Why? Because he never played in a Super Bowl. I bet you everyone under 40 could tell you something about Doug Williams. Namely, he won the Super Bowl.
I actually quibble with the idea that people under 40 know the difference between Doug Williams and Dan Fouts. If I was not that they should, but I'm just saying if you surveyed people on the street, I would guess.
And there we park our cars in the same garage. End of argument.
There is one difference.
How say you?
The Brandon Cooks catch, non-catch. How say you?
I thought it was an interception. I've watched it a million times. In the moment, I was like, damn, very close, hard to tell. Felt very, I didn't feel like I saw a good camera angle in the moment that clarified for like exactly when the ball was being jarred loose. But upon like seeing more angles of it, I agree with the argument that if the DB wasn't there and the ball had started coming out at the same time because of air, right, it would have very clearly been an incompletion. And I think when you think about it through that frame, you can see why it was called an interception.
I can understand that. Why isn't the DPI a bigger talking point? I thought that was brutal.
On Trey White?
Yeah, I didn't think that.
Dude, that was textbook DPI.
Their whole offense, that entire second half, like we can't bail out this offense every time. Their entire offense is give us a DPI.
It was just hugging him like Zac Efron hugged Vanessa Hudgens in
Yes!
I'm
That's what I'm talking about.
That was a guess.
Mina, thank you.
It's accurate.
Thank you for being on with us. She's the host of the Mina Kimes Show featuring Lenny. I strongly suggest that you listen to it. It's got a lot of good nutrients in it. Thank you, Mina.
Bye.
I also think it's fair to say after this Bills press conference today, and crazy to say, that if Cooks makes that catch, McDermott's still the coach. Obviously still the coach in this game, but he's going to continue coaching the Bills after that. That's nuts, right?
Yeah, they probably would have stick to the status quo.
They tried really hard.
You want to end the show with High School Musical. That's how you want to end the show here.
It's Lucy's last show for the week.
Against the spread. Against the spread.
Against the Spread is brought to you by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Greg Cody, what do we got?
Okay. Playoff semifinals, NFL, AFC championship game, Broncos at home getting 5.5 points I don't care that Bo Nix isn't playing. Broncos and that defense at home getting 5.5. Thank you very much. Taking it.
It's not bad. Not bad.
Really?
Not bad.
I don't like it. All right, Mike, what do you got?
So the Anaheim Ducks had a mid-season hiccup. They really dipped, but lately they're turning the corner. And we got a marquee game in the NHL between the Anaheim Ducks and the Colorado Avalanche. And the Colorado Avalanche have been an absolute wagon. So you can get Anaheim plus 1.5 for a pretty decent price. I think they cover that spread. Oh,
give me this.
We got Juju here with us. Juju, how you doing? Good to see you.
What's happening, family? How y'all doing down there, man?
Anything stand out to you today from our Looks Like game with Tim Kirchin?
Yeah, man. I was thrilled earlier this week whenever the announcer at the Phoenix Suns game, I think versus Brooklyn Nets, said that every time he sees Grayson Allen, he can't help but think of Ted Cruz. And now I cannot unsee it.
Pretty spot on.
He looks just like him.
No, they look exactly alike. It's kind of scary.
Like, this isn't the first time, because I know what you're talking about there, Juju, where they were having fun with it. It was as if it's the first time they've noticed. I feel like we've seen this for years.
It was my first time noticing.
Oh, really?
Imagine, right? It's like noticing for the first time that Rick Carlisle looked like Jim Carrey. You'd be like, holy moly, where was I?
Yeah.
Lucy Rodine looks like Margot Kidder.
I had no idea who that was.
Oldest
Literally
reference.
no clue. He said that, and I was like, that could be
From
anybody.
Superman? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was told I sound like her, too.
And sounds like her.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I
She
Jay.
was famous before cell phones.
And I hear it.
I saw a video of her shoot Superman with a gun. I said, cool, I'm okay with that comparison.
Yeah.
We're spiritually aligned.
All right, I'm interested in this, Juju. So we brought up Robert De Niro. Well, Dave brought up Robert De Niro. Rocky and Bullwinkle, right? Everyone remembers, great movie. But you have a top 5 weakest De Niro movies?
Yes, sir, man. The top 5 weakest Robert De Niro movies
into
he
this.
ever touched the set of. That I could think of, guys. Oh, well, lie. Hands of Stone. In that movie, Sugar Ray Leonard was played by Usher Raymond.
I don't even know that movie.
I'm learning about this for the first time.
I'm a big movie guy.
Right. Also, OLI, The War with Grandpa. I was watching some kids and we popped that on. I was like, come on, man. This is the brother from Heat, man. What are we doing? Number 5, Grudge Match. Robert De Niro versus Sly Stallone at 80 years old each.
That was a really bad movie.
Sounds horrible.
It was. I mean, the gambit is basically like this is Raging Bull versus Rocky, but they're old now, but it was just bad.
Number 4, Las Vegas.
I would never watch that. Come on. That's terrible.
Self-explanatory. Number 3, Dirty Grandpa. What were you thinking, big brother? Number 2, The Intern.
Oh, isn't that with Anne Hathaway?
Yeah.
That's no good?
I kind of liked that movie, which is unsurprising, but still.
And the number 1 movie, Dave Damshek said it earlier, man. The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Who does he voice in that?
He's the
I don't even
bad
know.
guy.
He's the
with
main
an
bad guy. He's
eye patch.
Yeah.
right?
He's Boris and Natasha's boss.
Oh, wow.
The big heavy.
All right.
Dr. Robotnik.
I've often
Also,
said Robert De Niro is Mike Tomlin and Mike Tomlin is Robert De Niro. You must genuflect to them for their legendary careers. You just have to ignore the last 10, 15 years.
That's fair.
Also, did you guys see last night Tom Izzo scolding one of his players, gave him a quick read. He was like, bruh, you can't guard my mother. Like, my mother. Video team, do you got that video?
You can't guard my mother.
Incredible quarter zip, too.
All right, so he was not having a good defensive game, that player? That's what we're saying?
Right, that boy was behind the bench. But yeah, man. Also, I wanted to get you guys' thoughts, man. Some good college aficionados on it. The NCAA is getting sued by a brother right now from coming to the G League, for trying to go back from the G League to college, you dig? And I wanted to know, like, to me, that seems a bit crazy, you know what I mean? There's a lot of schools doing that now where G League players are going back to college. Mike, what you think about that?
They
bro?
ruled in his favor and do not count Mario Cristobal out to try to get retired NFL players here.
Right, where does it end? Because it's a lot of one and dones that went to Kentucky. Are you telling me that once Tyrese Maxey say, hey, you know what, I've played all I can play, I'm 35 years old, let me go back and get a championship for the Wildcats.
That would be great.
He's probably got like 3 years old to be able to.
I cannot wait for Trent Williams to replace CeCe Mauanoa.
And also, too, earlier you was telling the Uncle Luke story, man. I got a relatable story about Uncle Luke, man. Uncle Luke just be on the phone playing, man. One day during the Iowa versus LSU game where Caitlin Clark took on Angel Reese, during the game, the LSU was getting a lot of whistles, man. And so I made a meme where the referee had on the LSU colored stripes, and he quote tweeted me, screenshot it, Dan Le Batard Show is racist. Look at this racist post. I'm black, brother. And I did see him at the highlight game, and I told him, I said, bro, that was me posting that. And like you said, in person, man, bro, so lovable and so playing, having a good time. Come on, big bro.
Juju, you got some polls for today?
Yes, sir. I got some polls for you, man.
Wait,
Coming
Uncle Luke
you
came out to
live.
highlight? He was at one of our, I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
That was wild.
And it's always all love. It's crazy. It's always hugs.
Right.
And laughing. Hey, man, you got to support us. You know, stop doing that stuff you're doing on Twitter. Mike, you know I love you.
Should we replace bowls with plates?
This is big.
71% of the audience says no.
Yeah, well,
I mean, pretty
Lack
logical.
of vision.
Never had soup out of a plate.
Right. Have you ever eaten a rotisserie chicken in the car? Come on, man. Also, too, man, see it with me every day. Support Football America. You got to know wherever you get your podcasts.
Juju's a patriot. I don't mean the kind
Yes.
with the capital P either. The good kind.
Yes, sir. 72% of the audience, however, have never eaten a rotisserie chicken in the car.
I mean, how do you hold it, Dave, when you do that?
Seriously.
Imagine
You have two hands, right?
whole
Oh,
giant-
you're the
one
wheel.
steers, the other one gets the chicken, and then that free hand can also be used to dip in gravy or mashed potatoes or otherwise.
you have the chicken in the bag it comes in, and you're like picking the drum off it as you're eating.
Wow, that is white tea.
Have you ever eaten ribs in the car? 76% of the audience says no, they haven't eaten those either.
Wow.
Dang.
Shocking.
Very shocking. Have you done everything in the car?
There it is.
66% of the audience says yes, they have.
The questions could basically be, do you survive or do you live? Give me the latter.
Right. Also, too, side note, I saw on Twitter yesterday, brother, you had commented on this as how the Gilbert Arena show was talking about Jimmy Butler's injury. Bro, quick thoughts on that, bro.
I mean, like they just say things. They say stupid things on that show.
That's
I don't
going
get
around.
it. I don't know any other way to
Yes.
sum it up, Juju. It's like they just say the dumbest things sometimes.
Yeah, but let's not forget how pumped Jeremy was to see Jimmy
It's
Butler
not
get hurt.
true. I don't want this said anymore.
Then
Kaminga
don't
and
say it in the first
Taché
place.
just shaking hands.
Wings or ribs? 93% of the audience says yes because I messed up the poll.
Yet it wasn't unanimous.
Right. Can you trust a person that has never had root beer, olives, nor ribs? 87% of the audience says no, they can't. Are you dancing for the man if you think that Diet Coke is better than regular Coke? 66% of the audience says, yes, you are dancing for the man. Come on, guys. Tastes good. And last poll, is hair conditioner a grift brought to you by Big Soap? 74% of the audience says yes, and those are your polls.
I mean, Jimmy got hurt because he's not living right.
And karma.
Strike a blow for the proletariat. We're coming for you, bourgeoisie.